a huge baby. If you don't acknowledge him immediately,
he gets his feelings hurt.
Yes, he does. He gets his feelings hurt. So if you text us, we might acknowledge you. Just
but if
keep
not,
in mind
just
it's a might.
Don't cry about it.
Yeah, don't be a big sourpuss about it. You'll be all right. 314-436-7900. Watch the show streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. Find the KMOX news pages. And you can follow us on Twitter and watch us there, too, at Chris Amy KMOX.
Time now for the top of the order. The top 3 stories everyone will be talking about.
Well, as you may have heard, a $16 billion data center, which was planned for Pacific, Missouri, is dead. At least for now it is. But what we are wondering is perception of data centers on the verge of changing? Let us know what you think.
And Mike Bush, you know the name, the KSDK anchor, 41 years, I believe he has been with KSDK. His last broadcast is Thursday. Just in a couple of days, he joins our show today at 11 a.m.
Must be nice to get to retire.
He only worked 41 years as an anchor.
Cardinals get to continue their series against the Phillies tonight, 6:45 first pitch after losing last night. So we hope that you'll stick around for the pregame show today at 5:50. Cardinals mounted a little bit of a comeback in the game yesterday, but they fell short. So, as I mentioned, data centers. We talk a lot about them on this show. They are a heavy topic of conversation around the country, and that is because the sentiment against them is, well, I don't know if I'd call it overwhelming, but it's pretty staunch. Depending on the polling that you look at, it ranges anywhere between 61% disapproval to 71% disapproval, and there are various surveys that have taken place over the last several months. So the bottom line is, as of right now, data centers are not very popular, and it crosses party lines. It's not just Democrats who don't like them or people who identify as Republicans who don't like them. Seems to be pretty universally disliked around the country. And this is how people feel about them now. And what I'm wondering is, can we get to a place, will we get to a place, and how would it happen if we start to change our opinion of them? Like, what if our collective disdain for them starts to soften? And maybe we start to realize that there are some benefits to them. And depending on where they're built, could be good for those areas they are built in. Of course, we don't like the idea of those massive Amazon warehouse-looking data centers that take up 15 football fields. You know, the dystopian thing that we talk about. Nobody seems to like that. But we live among them. We have a data center that's right across the street that we wouldn't have known was there if somebody didn't point it out to us.
Aren't there like 11 or 12 right in
There's
the
a lot
downtown
in the city.
area?
Yeah, in the city.
So,
but I think it's those big ones that really turn people off. But what would it take for us to listen, first of all? Because if you see any of these, you know, these town halls that get held in areas where a data center is proposed, they get heated, and people are not happy with the prospect of them coming. And we talked about how in Fenton, a bunch of people were, county or city council people were voted out because of a proposed...
In Pacific?
In Pacific.
Yeah, in Pacific, were
voted out of their seats because of approval of a data center. So the sentiment against them is pretty heavy. What would it take for us to, first of all, listen and maybe soften then ultimately on the idea of having them built near us?
I feel like we had a pendulum swing that the data centers came in hot and heavy, especially the big data centers. And then you would see these stories in the New York Times and the Washington Post about, as we mentioned, the monstrosities that are in more rural areas. They're multiple acres. And you think, oh my gosh, who wants this humming, resource-sucking, warehouse-looking data center right next to their property? Of course, nobody wants that. And so I think it went from these data centers being proposed and built to people really seeing them pop up and say, absolutely not. And they're pushing back against them. And I would say this, the data centers, the quickness with which they are being proposed and built, and also the lack of transparency doesn't help the case of the data center developers at all. Like, if the data centers really aren't that bad, then why do you have so many non-disclosure agreements? And if the data centers aren't that bad, why are you going behind the public's back to talk to city council members off the record before it gets a vote? That type of behavior will always imbue, I think, the public with a lot of suspicion. At the same time, I've been hearing, and maybe you have too, Ranj, heard from people who make comparisons about the resources that the data centers use, and especially if it's the closed loop circuit and all of that, that almond milk is so much worse for the use of water, which I have heard, or almonds, right? Making almonds, that sucks up water in California. Like, California shouldn't be growing almonds because of how much water that uses. Or that a data center uses as much water as 3 golf courses. And people really don't complain about golf courses and water use in golf courses. So I feel like right now, the pendulum's swinging back and forth, and we haven't found the happy medium to have a reasonable discussion about which data centers would be good at which locations.
I guess what I would say about the almonds thing is at least people can eat almonds, right? You can't eat data centers.
But we all use the data. We complain about data centers, and then we get on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok, and every person...
But even when we do that, Amy, we're still not using the amount of artificial intelligence that massive companies are when they're using AI.
What do you
It's kind of like, in a way, it's kind of like, you know, we get guilted about driving our cars and then polluting the environment when, I mean...
They're taking private jets?
Well, not even that. I mean, take a look at a factory and how much it's pumping into the air. What we do is nothing in comparison to that. It's a similar idea when it comes to the data that's being used.
Yeah, and that's why I said I think we're going to have more conversations about it. I don't know how dystopian it is. The big ones, I don't like. I don't like the way they look. I wouldn't want to live next to them. But, you know, are they necessary? I guess they're necessary. What if we say not in our backyard? If you get a bunch of NIMBYs when it comes to data centers, where will the data centers go? What happens if there aren't enough of them? I guess that's my question. Because right now people are using ChatGPT. Hey, ChatGPT, how much water is used by a data center? And you're using those data centers. You know, one of my friends jokes that, you know, we've just killed some trees by asking that question.
Yeah. And I don't think it's that dramatic, but I know what you're saying. I do think what I have heard and read about the data center water usage, it's that, yes, in some cases, the smaller data centers don't use as much as, say, a golf course does, but the larger ones can use up to 3 or 4 times the amount of water that a golf course does. And, you know, I suppose at least you can make the argument that, well, at least a golf course, the public can utilize it and they can go out there and be there, unless it's a country club and then it's exclusive and you can't afford to be there. But I think you get the idea. I'm really curious, though, if we will get to a place where we learn, hey, the tax benefits actually are pretty great. There was a piece in the Deseret News, which is in Utah, in Salt Lake City, and the idea they proposed is that maybe there is a wave of a more open-minded public when it comes to the data center. Now, they didn't really back it up with a whole lot of numbers or real evidence. It just seemed to be a vibe conversation. And they mentioned that there was at least one place, and I believe it was in North Dakota, I want to say, where a data center did come in, and that surrounding town of 11,000 residents, they did start to see benefits where the roads were getting paved quicker than they were. Rent prices were starting to go up, which sounds like a bad thing, but not necessarily. It depends, right?
Depends on the area, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a really low rent can mean nobody wants to live there. So there are pros and cons of it. And I don't know, maybe we will at some point realize that we need these damn things.
See, and that's right. And that's why, I bring up the almonds, I bring up golf courses, primarily because I don't know anything about data centers in the sense of they're relatively new for all of us. I mean, they're building them, so of course they're new. So I feel like I don't have perspective. I don't have I don't have enough context. When I look at the small and medium-sized data centers, I'm fine with it. Because like you said, we have, 12 of them. I have that number in my head, and I'll have to get the receipt for that. But I know there's at least a dozen right in the downtown area that you don't even know. You go to Chesterfield, where they knocked down Chesterfield Mall. There's a really nice medical buildings, kind of glass, kind of fancy looking. A data center is half of that building. You would never know. So it's not that I'm all anti-data centers. It's more of I feel cautious. I feel like I don't have a lot of perspective, and I do feel a little suspicious when there's a consistent lack of transparency from those proposing the data centers. Why are you going to city councils behind people's backs?
See, this is the only argument I will make in their favor, and it's not even a good argument.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it is that they are thinking these people don't know what's good for them. And so if we just do it, they will find out down the road, oh, I'm glad they approved this data center because look at all the benefits we're reaping from it. But the public doesn't get that now, and we have to force it upon them so that they do understand it. That would be the only positive argument for that, and that doesn't even work. That people will not accept that. To
be honest, and this is why, again, there are so many things that you can argue about or discuss. Kevin at the Lake mentions emotional responses. The data center nonsense is just the faux outrage of the moment. And I will say this. I'm sure we do have emotional responses to whatever the topic is of the day. But when it comes to data centers, if I had to say, for $1 million, which one concerns you more? The construction of data centers or electric vehicle batteries, how they're hard to dispose of. Are we getting the different materials for these electrical batteries from China? How bad are those batteries on the environment? What happens when we have millions of them? I don't know. Part of me is almost as scared of the batteries as I am the data centers, just because all of this is outside my pay grade. And we always know there's unintentional consequences to things when you're making progress, when you're making new developments. I just don't know. I don't know.
Well, I think these people don't know what's good for them is the best way to go about all of this.
I feel like you are lobbying for a job for the data centers.
Now, hire me.
These people don't know what's good for them. This is a villain story in a Marvel movie.
Yeah, so let us know what you think, and could your mind be changed on large-scale data centers, and what would it take? 314-436-7900. Go in and text in. Speaking of not knowing what's good for you, the people didn't vote for Prop U in the county, and now the county is in trouble. He was in trouble before.
It's the disappointed county executive. He's not mad. He's just disappointed.
Well, now there might be police layoffs.
What?
Because Prop U didn't pass, says Sam Page. We'll discuss that and more on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Hey, this is Kevin Wheeler, and I want to tell you about Burn Balance Complex, which you can pick up at Supplement Superstores, and you can find a location at supplementsuperstores.com. Look, Burn Balance Complex is different, okay? It's a game changer. It is a complete, all-natural metabolism system. It's not just a fat burner. If you're someone that doesn't want to get a prescription, if you don't want to go get injections, Burn Balance Complex can get your metabolism rocking the way that it's supposed to, and you notice it really early on because you start to notice clothes are fitting a little differently. You're seeing results, which then kind of gives you motivation to keep on going, right? Well, on top of the metabolism boost, you're also going to notice reduced stress with lower cortisol levels, appetite and craving control, which is absolutely critical to staying on a plan, plus all-day focused energy, no jitters, no crash at the end of the day. And look, it's not magic. You got to do the work, but Burn Balance Complex has made that work so much easier for me. It'll do the same for you. So get out to Supplement Superstores. Tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They'll knock 30% off right then and there. And you can find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
Hey there, it's Jill Schlesinger. I'm launching a new show. It's called Money Moves, and your money is going to move. We're going to help you make better financial decisions. We're going to call out the BS you're finding all over social media. We're going to give you actionable guidance to make your financial life clearer, less stressful. We're going to answer your financial questions and take the mystery out of your financial life. Follow and listen to Money Moves with Jill Schlesinger wherever you get your podcasts.
Imagine every time your business makes a sale. Inventory updates, an invoice is created, customer records are updated, accounting stays current. That's the power of Odoo. One fully integrated platform where every part of your business works together, automating tasks, eliminating extra steps, and saving you valuable time. Everything connects. Everything works. Try Odoo free at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Doug.
Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons, and lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Was your garage door shaking or grinding so loud your neighbors almost heard it when you left the house? Don't wait for it to get worse. Call Precision Garage Door of St. Louis. Chances are they're close by. From Wentzville down to Peevely, over to Pacific, to Ferguson, and everywhere in between, they've got you covered. Their highly trained techs can fix any make, any model garage door the same day. Check out their online reviews. More 5 stars than any other garage door company. That's why they promise
Precision Door Service, a name you can trust.
For the last 33 years, you've discovered that at Banner Construction, we pride ourselves on quality craftsmanship. We believe the single most important decision homeowners must make when considering an exterior restoration project is, who do you hire? At Banner, we provide well-engineered, meaningful, long-term solutions to transform your home into the pride of the neighborhood. Let us help you fall in love with your home all over again. Call 314-569-1050 or visit bannerconstruction.com and have a banner day.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
100 years, one legendary voice. We live KMOX's century of service, classic audio, photos, videos, and more at KMOX100.com.
Thank you to everyone who has been texting in as we talk about data centers. 314-436-7900. You know, we mentioned to the texters at the beginning of the show, specifically Harambe, who will not be ignored.
See?
We said he was something of a baby. Well, he texted in right away.
Yeah, he did.
He said, Harambe here. What the hell?
Well, I told you. I told you he's sensitive.
We appreciate Harambe.
He's
All
just
right.
a big old baby.
But
we do love him.
We do. Oh, we
and I never
love
want to see
Harambe.
him in person ever.
Because you don't want to meet your hero?
Correct. I don't want to know what he looks like. I would like to have an image in my head and leave it at that.
Do you have an image in your head?
I do.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Ranj mentioned Prop U in St. Louis County, which didn't get nearly as much attention as Amendment 4 and Amendment 5, which I understand because those were statewide issues on the ballot. Prop U specifically for St. Louis County, which was a use tax, which is better, I think, referred to as just an internet tax because it's a sales tax on internet purchases. We spoke with someone about Prop U who is in favor of Prop U and how Prop U, really what it does is it helps level the playing field for mom and pop shops, right? Your brick and mortars in St. Louis County who have to have a sales tax. Well, some people like to make purchases on Amazon and save a couple of bucks. That's fine, but that's not the lead. To me, it seems like St. Louis County and Sam Page, the county executive, buried the lead because now Sam Page has warned that there might be police layoffs and cuts to public safety after St. Louis County voters rejected the internet tax. Because, as we know, St. Louis County is facing a severe budget deficit. And this Prop U sales tax, which would have added just the regular old sales tax on internet purchases, estimated may have brought in over $70 million a year for St. Louis County, which is a lot of money for a county that's in the red. And also, if I were in St. Louis County and I was a proponent of Prop U, what I would have said is, don't lay off our police, don't cut police force, don't cut public safety, vote yes on Prop U. Like, Prop U, keep our police employed. This blows my mind that Prop U, which really, as I mentioned, did not get a lot of attention. I mean, Sam Page, like a disappointed dad, he's not mad at you. He's just disappointed, like, well, now I hate to say it, but we're probably going to have to cut police services and lay off county employees and lay off police officers.
Other than what happened with Amendments 4 and 5, and the reason those were probably overwhelmingly voted down is there were pretty robust campaigns against them. So those campaign ads are paid for. Somebody had to pay for those, right?
Mm-hmm.
There are groups that did that. Now,
and John Hancock and Michael Kelly said when you have money spent on the no, a lot of times it fails. Like when you spend money to say no on something, it for some reason is very effective.
And so I know the county's not going to spend money on promoting Prop U, right? So it would have to sort of be a word of mouth kind of thing, which meant that anybody who was in favor of it in the county needed to be doing every interview possible wherever they could.
Couldn't Sam Page have said, hey, even if he doesn't vote, even if he's not a proponent of it, which sounds like he is, but couldn't Sam Page have held a press conference and said, hey, no, Amendment 4 and Amendment 5 are getting a lot of attention. I just want to bring Prop U to the attention of the St. Louis County voter because there's a real chance if this doesn't pass, we will be cutting police officers. That is a soundbite that would have made it in every news story because we know people care about police. They care about public safety. I didn't realize that if it didn't pass, we'd be making cuts to police officers.
Yeah, but also, yes, also people just hate taxes in general. And it's difficult to pass something that isn't already intact, right? So like the city 1% sales tax, it keeps getting voted on and people keep passing it. Well, they're already used to that tax. It's any type of new tax. It's really difficult to convince people that they need to accept it. And it's almost like they stop reading after, oh, new tax? Mm-hmm. Nope, I'm good. It doesn't matter what that's for. I'm not going to vote for it.
But I do think,
so you've got to have a pretty good campaign in favor of it.
I agree with you. And what's funny is I think the one outlier is people vote for police officers and public safety. If anything is going to make you overcome your hesitancy to a new tax, it would be that.
Coming up at Busch Stadium tonight, it is the Merck Playing with Heart event. And again, it happens tonight. It raises awareness of cholesterol and how it can affect you and how dangerous it can be. And Sierra Kyle, the daughter of late Cardinal Darryl Kyle, will be joining the show when we come back on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Some shows are about sports. Some shows are about nothing. This one's kind of both.
So the show's not really a sports show per se. It's just a show. Glover here, we talk about whatever's happening, life, work, random stuff. And yeah, the Cardinals always find their way in. I'm a lifelong fan, love going to the games, love supporting the team, and love hanging out with you guys.
The Dave Glover Show at 1, and then Cardinals baseball.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767. 800-838-6767.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
It is pretty warm out there. I think today might be the hottest day of the week, but it's 83 degrees now. Real feel 98. The high today, 97. So extreme heat and humidity. Tonight, partly cloudy and very humid, a low of 74. Weather sponsored by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Home refresh rebate. Call now and get $500 back on a qualifying garage door with a qualifying purchase. Must be made by September 30th. Visit overheaddoor.com to learn more and schedule a free estimate.
St. Louis City SC and Schnucks are teaming up once again for our annual week-long food drive this Wednesday, August 5th through Tuesday, August 11th. Visit your local Schnucks to donate non-perishable food items benefiting Operation Food Search and help us beat last year's total. Join the effort this August to help City SC and Schnucks kick hunger in our city. Find out more at stlcitysc.com.
Listen up. If you have not paid self-employment, business, or individual taxes in years, the IRS will find you. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. I offer real solutions. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Story, today and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. At the Lance Story Law Firm, our practice is focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120 or visit LanceDruryLaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
You just testified under oath you're getting more fiber in your diet, and it was easy. Where is this additional fiber coming from?
Mira Fiber Gummies.
Objection!
It's true. Mira Fiber has 8 grams of fiber to help me get the fiber I need in a day, plus 4 B vitamins for metabolism support, all in one serving.
Overruled.
My gut rests its case.
Oh, that's my line.
Find Mirafiber today at your local retailer from the makers of Miralax. Mirafiber supports metabolism of carbs, fats, and proteins. Serving size is 4 gummies.
This is the Gas House Gang from KMOX.
Bernie Nicholas and the Gas House Gang, today at noon on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
"24 years ago this summer, we lost Darryl Kile, and a pitcher for the Cardinals. It passed away in a hotel room in Chicago. They were getting ready for a game against the Cubs that day, and that was a pretty difficult day for Cardinals fans, definitely for the family. And joining us today, because tonight is the Playing with Heart event at Busch Stadium, and that is put on by Merck. It does raise awareness for cholesterol and the problems that cholesterol can bring to you. This Playing with Heart event, again, happens at Busch Stadium tonight, and we have with us today on the Cuivre River Electric guest line the daughter of the late Cardinal Darryl Kile. Sierra Kile is with us, and Megan Burrick, representative from Merck, the pharmaceutical company, which is leading the program tonight for Playing with Heart. Sierra and Megan, we appreciate you being on the show today. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's great to be here with Megan right now to talk about this.
Thanks for having us on today.
So tell us what this event tonight is all about.
So it's really cool. A year ago, I was here throwing out the first pitch with the Cardinals, Merck, and Women Heart. So to see it come around full circle is great. But we're really here to just spread awareness about, my dad's story and, him dying of a heart attack and, encourage people to get to a doctor and learn about their own cholesterol numbers. And I'm really excited to be working with Merck and Women Heart this year.
Sierra, how did you get involved with Merck and Women's Heart? I mean, obviously the story with your dad, did they reach out to you? Was this something that you reached out and wanted to be a part of?
They reached out last year to have me at Busch Stadium, which was really great. I hadn't been in a really long time to a game, and I got to throw out the first pitch to Adam Wainwright just to kind of kick off the program. And it was amazing being back with, the team, and, my family was just so happy to see a program like this being built. And like I said, with the success of that, I'm just here to kind of continue the message of playing with heart and use my dad's story to do so.
And Daryl was 33 years old when he passed away, which is really, really young for somebody to have a heart issue. So, Megan, now that we have you, joining us with Merck, what is it about cholesterol that people don't know and probably should?
Yeah, I think the big thing to keep in mind is your bad cholesterol number, which is your LDL-C number. That's the number that you want to go to your doctor. You want to talk to your doctor about it, get your number checked, understand what that looks like for you. Every individual has a different situation, and doctors will customize it towards your exact program and what you need. And that's really what we're out here kind of educating about, is raising the awareness of exactly that, learning how to have that conversation with your doctor so that you can get checked no matter what age you are. As long, just know that and have a healthy conversation.
Yeah, I think we often have in our head an idea of like, okay, well, I'm pretty fit or I'm young, I eat healthy. This probably isn't a concern for me. But, Megan and Sierra, as you mentioned, Daryl Kyle being 33 years old and a professional athlete, it would never cross your mind to be concerned about something like cholesterol. So, Megan, do we see then that the bad cholesterol, the LDL, can be elevated in someone who's very fit or lean, muscular, active, whatever it may be?
Yeah, the thing about LDL-C is that it can build silently. It can plaques, which is bad cholesterol and fats and other substances. They silently build up in your arteries, and that takes place over time. And it might be over a shorter time, or it could be a longer time, but that's what increases your risk of heart attack or stroke. And so the sooner you go to your doctor, know your number, get checked, that's really the best way to do that. And there's also a resource for people to learn more. If you go to playingwithheart.com, there's information there that people can kind of look at, think about it more, and again, go to their doctor to have that conversation.
Again, the website, playingwithheart.com. And before I want to go back to Sierra for a moment, but how often would you recommend that people do get checked?
I think it's really, up to you and your family. I know after my dad passed, my mom was really great about, keeping my brothers and I on top of things and getting to the doctor. I think, unfortunately we had to use my dad's story and what happened to kind of get ahead of that. But, I'm really happy to be here to help encourage people not have to wait for a major life event to be able to just get to the doctor first.
So how are you and the family doing? And again, this has been, 24 years. And I remember it. I was a pretty young guy when it happened. And I mean, it was startling to me. And I'm just somebody on the outside looking in. So how are you and the rest of the family doing since?
We're great. My mom's actually here with me in St. Louis for the game tonight. So I'm really excited to be here with her again. I was actually with my whole family recently too. And we're doing great. My twin brother's in New York now, and the rest of my family's still in San Diego. But I'm just so excited to be back in St. Louis again. I think it brings back so many memories for my family. So.
Yeah, and Sierra, you were 5 years old when your father passed away. When did you guys, I guess, you guys got tested? How young did you start paying attention to this? I'm guessing, is that something that is genetic where people do want to pay attention if maybe their parents had an issue?
I think it's crazy. My dad passed when he was 33, and his dad also passed from a heart attack. So obviously it did raise flags for my family. And, my mom made sure, starting young with my brothers, just like I said, just starting young. And I think just staying on top of us to make sure we're staying healthy now and getting to the doctor regularly. But it really just depends on the family and the person when they want to have that conversation. But yeah, we did start young after my dad passed.
So tonight at the ballpark, are you going to be throwing out first pitch again?
I am.
Okay.
Hopefully I've got the Daryl Kyle curveball coming out. We'll see.
Well, I know you threw a first pitch out Astros game, wasn't it?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
That was back in May, and I did at Busch Stadium last year to Adam Wainwright, so that was really great.
Did they go well so far? All of them?
I think so. Adam told me to always aim high.
That's right.
Just that was great advice. Obviously, he was amazing, so I'll take any advice from him. So
Of course, people always think that they're gonna get it to the catcher, and they just think, well, if I just throw it high, I'm gonna throw it, and then they spike it.
Yeah.
So always
Exactly.
always aim high.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I'm excited to be here, and I was actually out here last June too, and I got to see Tony La Russa and a lot of the guys that played with my dad, and they just had such great stories to tell, and just the Cardinals community is amazing. So hopefully I get to come out here more in the future.
How often do you get to visit with or hear from some of your dad's teammates?
I was actually last June when I was out here, that was kind of the first time I was around a lot of them since I was a kid. A lot of them, would tell me, oh, the last time we saw you, you were so little. And now, me and my brothers are adults, but it was amazing. And I think being a part of this program with American Women Heart has allowed me to really learn more about my dad from players, former players, teams, just with stories I didn't even know existed. So it's been really cool for me and my family.
Well, Sierra, we are happy to have you back in town. We're really happy to talk to you about this night tonight. We appreciate you being on the show. Good luck, and I know that you'll fire a strike. I think we all know that.
Always.
Do not disappoint the family.
I know my brothers are watching, so we'll see.
You've got plenty of practice. Sierra Kyle, the daughter of Cardinal Daryl Kyle and Megan Burrick with Merck. Again, tonight at Busch Stadium, it is the Merck Playing with Heart event. And to learn more about what we were talking about here in cholesterol and get some good tips for you to follow, playingwithheart.com. Sierra and Megan, we appreciate you. Thanks for being with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Playingwithheart.com is the website, and you can find out more about it. I will tell you this. So that was if you remember, that was a really difficult week for Cardinals fans.
Yeah.
Of course, for Daryl's family. But we lost Jack Buck. And then a week later, what happened to Daryl happened.
Yeah.
And so that was a tough time, too. And it was already kind of a sad time because it was post 9/11. It was just a really weird time, I think, for the country and then for Cardinals fans on top of it, because you have these two people that everybody loved. You had a player that the fan base loved. You had a broadcaster. Of course, it was part of our lives growing up.
Yeah.
That was a really weird week for the Cardinals.
I remember it so clearly that I had to double check the math because I was 18, but in my head I was older because I do remember it so clearly. And the uncertainty surrounding the game, because like I said, my dad watches or listens to every single Cardinal game, and he has for as long as I've been alive, and obviously before that. And so Cardinals, Cubs, and there was a delay, right, with starting the game. And I remember coming in the family room, and my dad said, yeah, something's going on. And then the announcement.
Yeah, Joe Girardi.
That Joe Girardi made, through tears.
Yep.
I remember all of that.
Yeah, because I knew somebody who was at the game. It was a college friend who was there, and they said it was really weird because they're getting close to game time, and nobody's on the field warming up. So they knew something was wrong.
Yeah.
And then Girardi came and made that announcement. I'll never forget that. I mean, he was a Cubs catcher at the time. He later became a broadcaster, and it was a really awful time.
Yeah. And you bring up his age, 33, and a
So young,
professional
man.
athlete. And, when I was, one of my first jobs working retail, one of the favorite people that I worked with was a woman who, she was a single mom, and her daughter was, pretty young at the time. But her husband had passed away at 32 of a heart attack. And her daughter at the time was 9 months old. So imagine, like, you're just starting your family. You're 32 years old, and you're thinking, all right, I had my first daughter. We're going to have more kids. We're going to build a life together. And her whole world came to a complete stop. And now, you know, she was a single mom raising her daughter alone, never expecting to be dealing with grief at such a young age from a heart attack.
Yeah, and it's very cool to see Sierra doing what she's doing and being a part of this. The Merck Playing with Heart event is tonight at Busch Stadium, and they encourage you, again, to visit the website playingwithheart.com to find out more about what you need to know about cholesterol. I think we all are aware of it and that it's not good for you, but there are some things about it that you may not know. So playingwithheart.com to find out more. It's Chris and Amy on KMOX. We will be visiting with Dave Simons, partner and managing director of One Private Wealth. He joins us every Tuesday. We're going to learn more about, I think, inflation tomorrow. So we should get a number tomorrow morning before our show starts, find out how we're doing nationally. So we'll talk to Dave about that. At 10:30, we will visit with Brad Young, KMOX legal analyst. You may have heard about this story in New York, that at a Yankees game, a woman was hit in the head with a baseball bat. She is suing the company, or suing the team, for $10 million. And the bat went over the netting that's there to protect people, and she got severely hurt. So we'll talk to Brad Young about cases like that. And as Amy mentioned, Mike Bush is going to broadcast for the last time on Thursday, and he will be joining the show at 11 o'clock. Baseball fans, right now, you should know that with FanDuel, the big hits get even bigger with Dinger Tuesdays. It is Dinger Tuesday today on FanDuel. Customers can pick their own reward every Tuesday to use on home run bets. So how are you going to play your game? You've got two options. You get the bet reset, which means you can use it on your wager and then you'll get refunded in bonus bets if the bet loses. Or your second option is a 50% profit boost, where you make your bet, you activate the profit boost, and if it hits, that is extra winnings at no extra cost. So make your choice, and the reward is going to be ready for you on your next home run bet. So tonight, Cardinals again against the Phillies. You're going to place a wager in that one? You can. FanDuel.com/Missouri to choose your reward for home run bets every Dinger Tuesday. FanDuel.com/Missouri. Play ball with the home for home runs on FanDuel, an official partner of Major League Baseball. Must be 21 or over and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
What if you could better understand your risk for chronic disease and cancer before symptoms ever begin? With your disease risk from Siteman Cancer Center, you can take a quick, evidence-based assessment that looks at factors like family history, lifestyle, and everyday habits to provide personalized insights about your health. Your health story is shaped by more than genetics. Nutrition, physical activity, sleep, tobacco use, and routine screenings all play an important role in your future well-being. Knowing how these factors work together can help you make informed decisions and take action earlier. When it comes to prevention, knowledge is powerful. In just a few minutes, your disease risk can help you better understand your health risks and provide practical guidance to support a healthier future. Take the first step today. Prevention begins with awareness. Visit siteman.washu.edu/YDR. That's siteman.washu.edu/YDR.
America is turning 250 this year, and Circa Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. For everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circa Sports app, then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circa Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older and in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test. This has been a test of the emergency alert system. This was only a test.
Garage doors always seem to break at the worst time. They know that at Precision Garage Door of St. Louis. That's why if you call now, they'll fix it today. Their trucks are fully loaded, so they can fix any make, any model garage door the same day.
Precision Door Service, a name you can trust.
Give the gift of a magical experience at St. Louis Union Station when you take a real train ride journey to the North Pole aboard the Polar Express. Meet Santa and experience the magic of the Polar Express story with hot chocolate, treats, music, and sing-alongs. For those that truly believe in the spirit of Christmas, head down to St. Louis Union Station this year. Book your golden ticket before they sell out at stlpolarexpressride.com.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX. Now, did you see this? With Chris and Amy.
Well, you know how we take those sexual harassment videos? Like the tests or training, I guess you should say.
Some people just skip them, I think.
I do think that. And how Ron dreams of being in one.
I just want to be in the video.
Yeah, you don't care if you're the harasser or the
being
harassee.
harassed.
Yeah,
Harassed.
yeah.
Correct.
Well,
yes.
there's a new angle now that they might have to build into those videos. Apparently, GLP-1s are really messing up the way people talk, compliment, or comment on others' bodies, because if you take a GLP-1, obviously you can very rapidly lose weight. And so what's happening is HR professionals said more and more people are making comments like, wow, you look great, or hey, good job on the weight loss. But that's already, they say, an uncomfortable and generally frowned upon topic. And also, when people lose that much weight, they say, hey, you look great. Have you been taking GLP-1s? Which a lot of people don't want to share. So HR professionals are now having to remind office workers, hey, you can't comment on people's bodies or weight loss, and definitely don't ask them how they did it. So I think you're going to have to work that into your video.
So you should not, all right, what you're telling me.
Here, we have a very weird environment here. Here we say everything, but...
You should or should not go up to your coworker and say, you ain't big no mo. How come you're not big? You know how
that was
kids,
a compliment.
Yeah. Like,
Kids will say anything.
Can you say, you looking right? Like, you looking
No,
good.
Raj,
Can you do that or no?
No, I don't think so. I think we know you're going to be the harasser in the video.
I
What if
want
the
to be.
videos are just real? This is real uncut footage of Chris Ranji at work.
I kind of want to be the harassed. I want to be harassed at work.
You want someone to go,
just wanna
hey,
see-
good looking.
That's right. Why don't you come sit on my lap?
No.
I'm going to a meeting with Steve. He's like, just come sit over here. No. Oh, this chair is
So
perfectly
anyway-
fine.
Anyway, GLP-1s, man, they're really messing up the workplace.
Yeah, you can't compliment people anymore.
But I will say this, if someone wanted to lose weight and you've been working with that person for 5-10 years and suddenly they lose weight, it's almost weirder if you don't say anything. And I get it, it's not work. Maybe you can say it outside of work. But it's kind of like if someone was pregnant and they carried the baby for 9 months and nobody said anything because, like, oh, we can't say, oh, she's pregnant.
Is that a real baby or a food baby?
No, this
Can't
is just
say
from
that.
the pasta house.
Did you see that during the World Cup, and of course, because it is one of the biggest world events that happens every 4 years, that there were, and you're always going to get terror threats and that sort of thing, but there were at least a couple of different assassination attempts that were planned for Leo Messi.
What?
Yeah. So before Argentina's group stage game against Jordan, a man reportedly called the Dallas airport and threatened to enter the stadium with at least 2 other people carrying homemade explosives and ammunition. They identified Messi as the target. There was another scare where ahead of a round of 16 game against Egypt, police received threats claiming bombs had been placed inside stadium bins. They searched the venue with explosive detection dogs, but they found nothing. So Leo Messi was the target of potential attacks.
They say, people say they want to be rich and famous. And as Bill Murray said, no, you don't. You want to be rich. You don't want to be famous.
That's right. You want to be behind the scenes pulling strings. That's what you want.
Or just not pulling any strings, just being behind the scenes. Go ahead.
Amy, have you heard of, and maybe this is for a longer discussion here, but you know that they tell you eating raw oysters can have, it may not be good for you. I've eaten a ton of them.
Food poisoning wise, is that what it is?
So a retired firefighter just outside of Chicago is suing Gibson's Steakhouse. You ever heard of Gibson's?
Maybe.
It's kind of it's a local place up there, but it's fairly well known. So he says that he ate contaminated oysters that he was served there, and it caused catastrophic brain injuries. So he was a 44-year-old U.S. Marine veteran. He was a firefighter. He ate contaminated raw oysters. And according to the lawsuit, there were a couple of different bacteria there. And now he is he's incapacitated.
Oh, my gosh.
And he has been that way since he ate the oysters. I've never heard of such a thing. I've heard of like food poisoning, you get sick.
No. Oh, there's too many.
But nothing like this.
Yeah, that's not great.
So I guess you can't eat oysters anymore.
And then they said there are, flesh-eating amoeba in these fresh water that people are swimming in.
Ew.
Yeah.
That's flesh-eating bacteria. That one really scares me.
That's bad.
Yeah, not good. All right, when we come back, we'll talk to Dave Simons, partner and managing director of One Private Wealth. The inflation numbers coming out tomorrow. What do we expect? We'll talk to Dave in a moment on KMOX.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm in the air conditioning business. I don't advertise that much. I was leaving a customer's home, and I was out in Illinois, and as I was driving away, my fan for my air conditioner went out. I had to cross back over into St. Louis, where there was bridge construction, so massive rush hour, backed up traffic, windows down, sweating. I had to take it straight to the dealership to drop it off because there's no way I can function, much less work, without air conditioning in my truck. And I'm the same way in my house, and every homeowner, not every homeowner, but most homeowners are the exact same way. So if you're experiencing difficulties with your air conditioner, meaning you have none, call me, Bart Inman, and it's one easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Again, Bart Inman, 314-293-2600, Missouri and Illinois. Call me. God bless.
New Game Plus with Oxy makes your laundry smell incredible and fights stubborn smells, like the ones your dog Biscuit brought into your freshly made bed last night. But you wash that all away with Game, and now you're drifting asleep to the scent and sound of waves. Ah, no, that's the dog licking your ear.
Biscuit.
It just might be our greatest scent ever, now with odor-fighting power. New Game Plus with Oxy.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
When I hit my 50s, I felt like things were slowing down.
This is Sandra's Metamucil story.
I started taking Metamucil for digestion, but had no idea it would impact so much more. Not only did Metamucil help me feel more regular, but my heart health saw the benefits too.
Metamucil. One simple routine, 4 health benefits. Digestive health starts here. Go to Metamucil.com for more details.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood, the voice of St. Louis.
At 10 o'clock, we've got sunshine downtown at the Arch. Right now, it is 86 degrees. 4 projects in the city of St. Louis are getting additional funding from the federal government.
These funds will touch on everything from public safety to infrastructure to economic development.
Congressman Wesley Bell announcing $1.25 million in federal funds going towards St. Louis City to cover 4 separate projects. One of those projects, a new port.
The South Riverfront Redevelopment Project, turning overlooked land into a new port and into opportunities, jobs, and long-term growth for St. Louis.
Other projects include the Compton Avenue Bridge reconstruction and improvements to the firefighter training tower and the city's first responder simulation lab. At City Hall, Sean Malone, KMOX News.
St. Louis County Executive Sam Page is floating the idea of increasing property taxes in order to help relieve the budget crisis. Councilman Dennis Hancock says he would like to see the council continue to lower county spending before considering increasing property taxes.
Keep in mind, our revenue stream goes up 2 to 3% every year. Our spending has gone up faster than that. We need to get our spending under control.
Councilman Mike Archer says raising property taxes is an option, but calls it premature to commit to that plan before they see a recommended budget from County Executive Sam Page.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Pre-trial hearing underway for the man accused of shooting and killing United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson back in 2024. ABC's Matt Rivers is outside the courthouse in New York City.
In all likelihood, this is going to be the last time that we see Luigi Mangione in court before jury selection in what plans to be a blockbuster state trial that will begin right after Labor Day. Now, today's hearing is a pre-trial conference to try and iron out those last-minute details, including media access and what is likely to be one of the most high-profile trials that we have seen in quite some time.
Heavy equipment is still being used to lift concrete from piles of debris left after the 7.4 magnitude earthquake in Colombia. The death toll, more than 160 people, and expected to rise. At least 3,000 people are missing, many of them trapped under debris. Soldiers, rescue personnel, and families are picking through the rubble. Existing home sales fell in July as many prospective buyers stayed home. This is ABC News.
The calendar still says summer, but retailers are rolling out a fall favorite. Here's Andy Dane.
Ready or not, pumpkin spice season is upon us.
If consumers weren't responding to it, I think we'd see a different reaction. But honestly, that's why we're seeing it earlier and earlier at this point.
RJ Hodovy, head of analytical research at foot traffic analysis firm Placer AI, tells the Noon Business Hour the fact that August is typically a slow month for retail is another reason the rollout keeps creeping up and expanding as well.
I think at the end of the day, Starbucks still owns this holiday, but obviously there are other players in the space who are trying to capitalize on this trend, and they're innovating. They're coming up with new fall-themed items to go along with it, both at restaurants and groceries. So I think a lot of other players are jumping on this.
The Dow from Stifel's up 6 points to 53,982.
KMOX AccuWeather, an extreme heat warning remains in effect through 8 p.m. tomorrow. More sun than clouds, very hot and oppressively humid today with a high of 97. And the AccuWeather real field temperatures topping 105 to maybe 110 in places this afternoon. Partly cloudy, warm and sticky tonight, though 78. Sun and clouds tomorrow, hot and humid. A thunderstorm in the area, especially in the afternoon, the high 94. Those real fields near 105. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Forecast is sponsored by Chesterfield Fence and Deck, your premier provider of fences, decks, patios, sunrooms, and more. Call them for a free estimate today. Now offering 20% off your next outdoor project. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, chesterfieldfence.com. We've got sunshine downtown at the Arch right now, 86 degrees. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Chris Ronchi, Amy Marks Kors. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It's Tuesday, and it's time to talk to Dave Simons on the Quiver River Electric guest line. He is the partner and managing director of One Private Wealth, and he talks economy, he talks finances with us every Tuesday on the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX. Dave, welcome in.
Thank you so much, Chris and Amy. And you know what? Bill Murray is exactly right. It is tough to be rich and famous. It's a curse.
It is.
Is that why you decided to just be rich?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I'll go one further, actually. Bill Murray does not have to battle this, and that's rich, famous, and exceedingly handsome. I mean, you talk about a triple whammy, but somehow we managed to, Tom Brady, George Clooney, Dave Simons, we happened to somehow manage through all of it.
Nobody believes that. I don't, Dave.
Okay.
Come on, Dave.
Sorry. I'm in a heavily regulated industry, and I'm not supposed to tell fibs, and I think I might be in trouble. So
that would actually be...
You're really depleting trust.
That would be, if this turns into a lawsuit, I think it would be national news where, you know, a financial advisor, the fraud he got caught committing was handsome fraud.
Yes. Nothing to do with actually investing money. It was telling... it was ego driven. That's what it was.
So what do we think we're going to find out tomorrow? Because in the morning, 7:30 our time, we will find out what inflation, where it's at, what the number is. What do we think we're going to learn?
Well, the economists overall, and they are exceedingly wrong much of the time, but 3.4% is the annualized number. So if you see on the news headlines tomorrow, inflation from a year ago, it's up 3.4%, you'll know, oh, okay, it was probably right in line. It typically is not. It might be a little lower, a little higher. The market can handle both, but if it's extreme either way, it's going to be really interesting to see what the stock and bond markets do. Because if it comes in hotter, that just tells the market, you know what? The Fed has to raise rates. Inflation is still too high. The Fed next meets in September, and I'm not so sure. I'm not saying the market's going to sell off big time, but it's probably not going to rally. Let's put it that way. However, remember last week, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but when the unemployment report came out, it was not good. We lost jobs in the month of July, but the market rallied. You're like, okay, why would that be? Because that took a little heat off the Fed to maybe have to raise interest rates, which the market would prefer. It does not do that. So if we get a low inflation number, that gives the Fed even more cover to maybe not have to raise rates because the economy might be slowing down on its own. So big report tomorrow.
So are there any indications? Because economists, again, as you say, they have this projected number. But from your perspective, do you see any indicators that give you an idea of what you think might happen?
You know, here's the interesting thing about that, Chris, is because it's based just on July, all right? And it was the beginning of July, if you go back and look, was sort of a timeout for the Iranian war, and oil prices had come down. But by the end of the month, I mean, we've restarted this war how many times now, but we're back in that phase where oil prices and gas prices ended the month of July a little higher. So I don't know how that's going to factor into the entire July month of inflation. Is the rising gas prices based on what was happening halfway around the world going to have a big impact on that number? And if it does, and the inflation number is quite a bit higher than 3.4, maybe the market won't care because they'll say, oh, it was only a 1 month thing due to the war, and that's going to end at some point anyway. That's the thing. In answer to your question, I don't see any real long-term trend outside of the volatility of the oil markets right now that tell me that we've got a real inflation problem. Yes, inflation's going up a little bit, but I don't see it jumping 4 to 5% anytime soon. I don't know how impactful this number really will be tomorrow. And by the way, let me add this. When the Fed meets in mid-September, 5 weeks from today, there is going to be one more inflation number. The August inflation number will come out 1 week before the Fed. So they will have 2 of these reports. So while tomorrow is important, it will long be forgotten by the time we get to the August report.
Okay, so let me ask you about something we've asked you about before, which is the Trump baby fund, the $1,000 that Donald Trump, the Trump fund has promised that if you have a kid, you get this $1,000. And we had asked you, like, hey, should people take this $1,000? You said absolutely. How has it been doing? Have people been signing up for this?
Oh man, great topic. No, not in the expectations I think that Wall Street expected, or at least the government expected. And I've seen reports on this that, well, number one, people really aren't that aware of it. They're not really plugged into it. They think they have to jump through a lot of hoops. There might be a catch. I think that's part of it, lack of information. But I've read reports that another reason is just because the name Trump is on it. And I take no sides in this, love him, hate him, whatever. But I've seen it personally. When I read that report, I thought, well, that's interesting. I just talked to someone a couple of days ago about this, and they don't want to do a Trump account because simply the name Donald Trump is on it, and they want nothing to do with it. So let me be very clear, folks. If you have a child or a grandchild born in that 4-year period, which is January 1st, 2025, up through the end of 28, 4 years, take the money. It's free. A lot of this money that's put aside is actually from big donors like a Michael Dell and others. This isn't even a lot of tax money. It's free money. Take it. Let me give you some math here. And you don't even have to add to it. You can, but if you're so opposed to the name of Trump being on it and you don't want to even put your money into it, fine, don't. But $1,000 invested until that child is an older adult and can access it at 59 and a half. So this is not education money. Let's be clear about this. This is long-term, get it in retirement. If you only get historical stock market average returns, 1,000 turns into a little bit more than 300,000 by the time you get to 59 and a half or 60. Let me add one more on that, Amy. Some employers, you need to ask, will add $2,500 every year into your kid's new Trump account. Let's just do it for 5 years, not even 10, 15 years. Your employer just does it for 5 years. $2,500 plus the 1,000 free money. This is absolutely accurate math. That turns out to be slightly more than $3 million.
Oh my gosh.
Dollars by the age of 60 if we use historic market returns. Take the money. If you have to, hold your nose. And in 18 years, this is key, the Trump name falls off because it then becomes a traditional IRA. That's my soapbox statement on this.
Is it they don't want to be associated with the name, or is it they're afraid some sort of rug is going to be pulled from under them at some point? Like there's a catch that they don't realize because that would be it would stand to reason, you know?
From what I can gather, Chris, in my own little corner of the world here, it's the former. There are people just so opposed to everything the man stands for. And again, I'm just giving you the facts, not taking one side or the other. But that's what it is. That's the country we live in right now. People are very, very divided over the current president of the United States, and they just want nothing to do with it. And so I have counseled more than a couple of people to really point out that, look, the Trump name does fall off eventually, and you don't have to put any of your own money into it, but at least take the money. Even given to inflation, I know $300,000 59 or 60 years ago is not going to be the same as it is today, but it's still based on historical inflation, probably $100,000, and the 3 million still might be at least $1 million. I mean, this is real money, and you are leaving a legacy for that newborn.
And Dave, again, because sometimes when something feels too good to be true, I always assume it is. There's no way that this could somehow backfire where a future court says this Trump baby account is unconstitutional and now you have to pay back that money.
There is no such thing as a 0% chance of anything happening. I have learned, especially in this business. No, that of course something like that can happen, but I think it's extremely small. Congress was really behind this, by the way.
Okay.
This is something that we have very bipartisan, and we have talked. The three of us have talked about this, about the lack of financial education, the lack of financial planning, the lack of people being able to put money aside in today's world, in today's in where we have it in this country right now. And this is one of the great things that the government has put aside. So this is bipartisan. They're supporting it. I don't see that happening. But Amy, I'm like you. I even look at something like what I consider to be the holy grail of investing, which is the Roth IRA. Please, folks, please, if you qualify for the Roth, put money in there. It's so good and it works so well that I can see in 10 years, Congress says, yeah, we need to tax that money now. Thanks for playing, everybody. Thanks for participating. That's probably more of a fear that I have than anything else.
Dave Simons with us on KMOX. I've seen a term lately that I had not seen before, and it's because I think the circumstances have changed a little bit. But when it comes to technology, the term chipflation, which I'm sure you have heard. What exactly does this mean, and what does it mean for the economy?
Well, there is. So I've actually heard it both ways. So did you see it because of on the technology side of chips and semiconductors, or the food side?
On the semiconductor side, that
Okay, that's
electronic
what I thought.
goods are now costing more.
That's exactly right. Because just the other day I saw it on the chip side. We've seen shrinkflation,
yes.
Yeah, and somebody else was referring to that as the new chipflation. But yeah, on the technology side of things, it's very interesting because, Chris, there has been this talk about what is AI going to do to the labor market eventually, and this is connected to the chipflation subject, and that is AI could replace so many workers that we could have this plethora of unemployed Americans. And I haven't seen that yet. Interestingly, I've seen a little bit of the opposite, where a lot of these bigger tech names are just demanding and desperately trying to hire more people. Who's in trouble are your middle management, white collar folks, some of the bean counters, some of your HR folks, where AI is really starting to replace a lot of those workers. What you're getting from this chipflation and its connection to that is the fact that as technology companies grow and as they demand more people, more costs, they're going in now to the debt markets, that things are actually becoming a little bit more expensive because there is so much demand right now. They cannot keep up with supply. And if you know your basic Econ 101, if you have too little of something and too much demand of that something, prices are going to go higher. That I have never seen this in my life, and it's very unique in American history because technology normally brings costs down. But here we're in a very unique place right now where there's so much demand. They cannot keep up with the pace that we are now seeing prices going up in the tech world, and that's probably going to continue.
Dave Simons, thank you again, and goodbye.
Okay, sounds good, guys. Talk
Thank
to you next
so
week.
much, Dave. You're the best.
All right, thanks, guys.
Dave is the partner and managing director of One Private Wealth, and he joins us every Tuesday here on 104.1 FM KMOX. We have a question of the week, and I cannot wait to run to answer this question. I cannot wait to participate in our
baby.
Twitter poll. I'm so excited to push that button. It's Chris and Amy on KMOX.
Hey, this is Kevin Wheeler, and I want to tell you about Burn Balance Complex, which you can pick up at Supplement Superstores, and you can find a location at supplementsuperstores.com. Look, Burn Balance Complex is different, okay? It's a game changer. It is a complete, all-natural metabolism system. It's not just a fat burner. If you're someone that doesn't want to get a prescription, if you don't want to go get injections, Burn Balance Complex can get your metabolism rocking the way that it's supposed to, and you notice it really early on because you start to notice clothes are fitting a little differently. You're seeing results, which then kind of gives you motivation to keep on going, right? Well, on top of the metabolism boost, you're also going to notice reduced stress with lower cortisol levels, appetite and craving control, which is absolutely critical to staying on a plan, plus all-day focused energy, no jitters, no crash at the end of the day. And look, it's not magic. You got to do the work, but Burn Balance Complex has made that work so much easier for me. It'll do the same for you. So get out to Supplement Superstores. Tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They'll knock 30% off right then and there, and you can find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer at a beverage manufacturing plant, he starts his day knowing every line is ready to run because Grainger delivers the industrial-grade products he needs to keep mixers, conveyors, and packaging equipment moving. With Grainger's vast selection of bearings, belts, and motors, he keeps operations running smoothly, so nothing grinds to a halt. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
Soldiers Memorial Military Museum looks at American military history through the lens of St. Louis. From the Revolutionary War to the present day, the gallery showcases stories of local service members and delve into the city's wartime history. Outside, the Court of Honors includes monuments to those who lost their lives in World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. Open Wednesday through Sunday. Admission is free. Find information about special exhibits at mohistory.org/memorial. That's mohistory.org/memorial. You've pictured it, the garage door that finally makes your home look the way you want it to. And now get $500 back on a qualifying garage door with the Overhead Door Home Refresh Rebate. Qualifying purchase must be made by September 13th. Let Overhead Door Company of St. Louis upgrade your curb appeal and get you up to $500 back. Schedule a free estimate at overheaddoorstlouis.com. Select models. Rebate paid as a Visa prepaid gift card. Restrictions apply. See website for full terms.
Muni in Forest Park. Shakespeare meets showbiz in the Muni debut of Something Rotten, a hilarious mashup that closes out the summer on stage August 17th through 23rd. Your seats are waiting at muni.org.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Proudly serving St. Louis for over 100 years. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Ron Michael Kelly was in yesterday, filling in, and he proposed a question that we turned into our question of the week, and it is regarding this humid sub-Sahara Amazonian dew point heat we're having and the very cold. So here's the question. If you could say, oh, right, you have to survive 2 extra weeks of this heat and you get 2 fewer weeks of bitter cold in the winter, or you have to survive 2 extra weeks of the sub-zero bitter temperatures, but you get 2 fewer weeks of this heat in the summer. Would you make that trade, and which one would you choose?
Well, first of all, why did he bring it up? Because it's
hot.
It's so gross out.
Because it's so hot. And because it's so hot that when I got coffee with my mom and sister on Saturday, not running. This is after I've run and after I've showered. I had to sit on a towel after we left because I was sweating. Matt's grossed out.
As I said, I am running to vote in this one.
Okay.
First of all, I wish it had some teeth. Like if I voted for this, that's what we would actually get.
I know.
Because I will take the 2 extra weeks of cold without thinking twice about it. It won't even, I won't even have to consider it. Like I saw the question on the sheet here and I went, cold, I'll take the cold. This weather sucks so hard, man. And I know people are cold is terrible. Yeah, you could put on jackets. You can wear hats. You can cover your face. You cannot do anything about this. You can't take off layers of skin to make it more comfortable outside. The humidity, the moment you step out the door and it feels like you're wearing a hot blanket, I'm out. I am so out on that.
Debbie Monterey described it this way, which I think is perfect. When you step out the door, it feels like you're getting hit in the face with a hot, wet towel.
Yeah, that's exactly what it feels like. No, you know how like when you go to the steakhouse, a really nice steakhouse, and they bring by that hot towel after your appetizer or whatever? It feels like they put those all over your body, and it doesn't cool off. It just stays like that. This weather is horrid. I hate everything about it.
Actually, side note, didn't know that about steakhouses. I've never been to a place where they give you a hot towel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's fancy.
Yeah, it's very fancy.
Okay, I picked the cold as well because you can always put more clothes on.
Yep.
And I will say, I'm picking the cold even though I have a little PTSD from this past winter. Remember when it was below 0 and we got 10 inches of snow? Like we knew the storm was coming in, the temperature dropped to 0. We got 10 inches of snow, and I did a workout with my buddies in Forest Park. The wind chill, I kid you not, was -16. And I will say, I was in quite a bit of pain. Like, it was not fun. But you know what happens is you're invigorated. Your cheeks are red and pink. You look almost cute. You know, you come in from the cold, you almost look cute because your cheeks are pink and your nose is pink. And then you get inside and you make hot coffee. And you have a fire going, and you get under the blankets, you get all cozy, and you feel good. You feel exhausted, but it's a good tired. Here, you're sweaty. You look like death because you're pale, almost look jaundiced. You look like you're going to pass out, and you kind of feel like throwing up for the rest of the day.
This is what happens. I think that you can maybe boil this down to the reaction that you have when you step inside from both conditions. When you step inside from really cold, you open the door, you come in, what do? You go, woof, like that.
Makes you feel alive, you told me.
What do you do when you come inside from this? You go, oh, God, it's awful. F all of this.
But I will say,
it's so bad. I hate it.
I do like the seasons. I'm not going to lie. I'm saying this as someone who actually likes a few weeks like we've had.
I can give me a weekend. I'm okay. Give me.
I don't want it to be cold all the time. I don't even want, believe it or not, I don't want perfect California weather, which I know is weird to say. I like the seasons. I like being miserably cold or miserably hot. I like the rain. I like the snow. I can't do perfect weather.
I think it's a Daniel Tosh joke when he talks about people who say, I like seasons.
Yeah.
And he says, so do I. That's why I live in a place that skips all the crappy ones. But he doesn't use crappy.
Yeah.
But I think, this is just miserable. It's not good. When you can't put on clothing and come outside and without feeling like you've got to jump right back in the shower, then you're losing. I think we are losing with this kind of weather.
618 says, thanks for sharing your devastating case of swamp ass with the whole Metro East, Amy. Real highlight of the day. Bro, that's not even the worst. The most famous is, and I'll say it quickly, is I wore khaki pants to the baseball game, and I was sitting down, and I stood up to get, a hot dog and a soda, and I stood up, and the woman behind me, whom I did not know, said, oh, honey.
Yeah.
I got an oh, honey. I threw those shorts away.
Yeah, you can never wear those again.
You can't wear khaki shorts to a baseball game.
Yeah, and that only happens in weather like this.
Oh, honey.
Yeah, go ahead to our Twitter account, @ChrisAmyKMOX. It will be pinned near the top, and you can vote in that poll. I cannot wait to do it. Going to do it here as soon as we go to break. You may have heard that story about a woman suing the Yankees because she got hit by a baseball bat that flew into the stands. $10 million lawsuit. We'll talk to Brad Young, KMOX legal analyst, about that next on KMOX.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
All access with Ollie Marmol on the Gas House Gang.
When things aren't going well, I feel like there is a responsibility to answer to it. Even the kid that apologized for yelling, "Let's go, wake up." His seats were the first seats right behind the dugout. You paid good money for those. You get the yell. So if you have an opinion, if you have questions, I'd rather take the time, especially when things aren't going the way our fan base would like. Just answer those.
Ollie Marmol, Tuesdays at noon on KMOX.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-day kitchen and bath. It's all about time.
Save time and money.
Do it now, don't wait till later. Call the top-notch renovator. It's about time.
3 days or less.
At 3-day kitchen and bath.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
87 degrees, real field temperature 103. It will be sunny and hot today, so be careful. A high of 97. Tonight, partly cloudy and humid, a low of 74.
Brought to you by Duke's Real Mayo.
This is the Duke's country song. It's a song about the best mayo. It has a yellow lid, and its full name is Duke's Mayonnaise. Get Duke's Mayo in store. It's got twang.
Things in Washington, D.C. may seem unsettled at times by their lack of progress, but one department in the U.S. government is progressing. That is the IRS. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. The IRS is in full function to collect on unpaid taxes. If you've been putting off a tax problem, it's time to call the Lance Drury Law Firm and get it resolved. Don't think the government is too busy to focus on my issues. Too many of my clients thought the same. So if you owe back taxes or haven't filed returns in years, it's time to call the Lance Drury Law Firm and finally resolve your tax issues. Remember, if you have tax problems, you have legal problems. Call the Lance Drury Law Firm. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Or call 314-260-6120 or visit LanceDruryLaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Drury Law Firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Do you have burning, tingling, or numbness in your feet, hands, or legs? Is neuropathy making it harder to walk safely, forcing you to watch every step, grip railings, or live with the fear of falling? If you've been told there's nothing that can be done for neuropathy, that isn't the full story. At Comprehensive Integrative Healthcare, we don't just label symptoms. We evaluate the underlying factors that may be contributing to nerve dysfunction. Our focus is helping reduce neuropathy symptoms, improving balance, and supporting better daily function, so you can stay active and independent longer. Most people don't realize neuropathy often progresses over time, and when it worsens, symptoms can become more limiting and more difficult to manage. Imagine being able to walk with more confidence again, sleep without burning or tingling waking you up, and stop constantly worrying about your next step. Right now, we're offering a free neuropathy consultation to determine if you may be a candidate for care. Call now to schedule your appointment at 636-355-8662. That's 636-355-8662. Don't wait until symptoms get worse. Call 636-355-8662 today.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to Supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At Supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to Supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform. All your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's Supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
Today, the Cards, the Phillies.
Ameren Total Access 550. First pitch 645.
Cardinals Radio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
Chris and Amy on KMOX, and recently a fan at Yankee Stadium in New York was hit by a baseball bat that flew into the stands when the batter let go of it on a swing. That woman has been suffering, she says, from a concussion, severe, persistent, and debilitating post-traumatic headaches, has not been able to go to work. A disabling sensitivity to light. So all kinds of things have happened as a result of it. She has sued the team for $10 million. And to talk about this lawsuit with us and what your rights are if you're at a ballpark or a sporting event, we've got Brad Young, KMOX legal analyst, joining the show today, partner at Harris, Young & Kaiser. How's it going, Brad Young?
You know, it's going great, Chris. Good to talk to you, my friend.
It's good to talk to you, too. So people will hear the number $10 million and they'll think, oh, frivolous lawsuit. How do you not know? You're sitting in the stands. Of course a baseball bat could come your way. Does this woman have a case, though?
Well, there's a lot to break down there. First of all, you could allege anything in a lawsuit. You can allege $4 quadrillion. Okay, what you allege is truly meaningless in the scope of the case. That's just designed to get headlines and, frankly, to get folks like us to talk about it, right? So that's the point of that number. But let's talk about the merits, because the merits here, I think, are very interesting because of the details. Now, this lady, according to published reports, she was sitting in the fourth row behind home plate. New York has something called the baseball rule. It's not a statute, but it's created by case law, and it does not require a stadium to screen every seat, but it does require adequate screening behind home plate where the risk is the greatest. And she is alleging, the plaintiff here, is that the netting directly in front of her in the fourth row, there was netting, but she's saying that netting was insufficient to block the bat, so therefore the Yankees and the producer of the netting are liable.
What about the fine print on the back of the ticket that says going to a baseball game, hockey game, whatever game, has these dangers. We're not responsible for flying bats, balls, pucks, sticks, players, etc.
Yeah. And I'm glad you asked me that, Amy, because you would think that that's dispositive, right? But it's truly not. And let me tell you why. Let me give you an example from a different area. If you don't shovel your sidewalk at all, it snows, we're not talking about your khaki pants with swamp sweat. We're not talking about that. Imagine winter, okay? It snows, you don't shovel your driveway. Somebody slips and falls in your driveway or sidewalk. Are you liable? Maybe. But you have greater liability if you shovel the driveway, you shovel the sidewalk, and someone still slips and falls. Why is that? Because they are basing their conduct based upon your apparent cure of the problem. So let's apply that here to the baseball case. If there was no netting and you had that baseball ticket that says we're not liable for anything because you're going to get hit with everything imaginable and we're not liable, that would be pretty firm. But when you have the netting there, now the plaintiff can say, well, yeah, I assumed the risk, but since the netting was there, it was my assumption that the risk was reduced because you've taken affirmative steps to protect me. But those affirmative steps that you've taken, they didn't protect me. I got hit with a bat and now I'm in bad shape. So those disclaimers aren't always what we call dispositive.
So is there a difference now because physical tickets are not really a thing? I believe that if you want to, or if you need to, you can go to the box office and say, I need a physical ticket printed for me. but that's not how baseball tickets are delivered anymore. You got to have an app on your phone. And I have access tickets quite often. I don't know that I have noticed anywhere on the app there is all that disclaimer language. And if it is there, I'm not sure where to find it. So it's not like as easy as flipping a ticket over and there's a bunch of words that you can read. It's not like that anymore. So does that have any impact on it, that it's not readily available to you, like all the stuff that we're talking about here?
Well, I don't think it's as critical as it used to be, because there's been a lot of litigation over this, right? Lots of folks have sued everywhere. There's a lot of case law on this about what defines negligence for the stadium and what is or is not negligence. So even if that language isn't there, I don't think that's that big of a deal anymore. Now, listen, lawyers are so cautious. If I were representing the Cardinals, I would say plaster those disclaimers everywhere, right? Just to protect you from liability. But at the end of the day, I don't know that it makes that big of a difference.
I mean, I guess this is where I get a little frustrated, or maybe this is where my fear of going to jail or being bankrupted for something that was just an accident, like I didn't mean to do. What would stop this woman from suing the player? Like, well, I'm suing the player as well. I'm suing the Guardians because they're the ones that threw the bat.
You could. And in fact, this lady, and this is a little tweak, I'll make it quick because it's not that sexy, but the company that makes the netting is out of business. And so the plaintiff is suing the successor company that bought the assets of the company that made the netting. And so then there's an issue about whether you can sue a successor corporation. But let's get to your exact question. What if we sue the batter? Okay. Mm-hmm. In negligence, you have to prove that, number one, that they had a duty, and number two, that they failed that duty due to some act of negligence. Either they willfully or they just failed to do something. It would be I don't know that any jury in the country would say that a batter is negligent for inadvertently letting the bat fall out of his hands while he's swinging at a 105-mile-an-hour fastball. So you would have to get that negligence standard, and I think any judge in America would dismiss a case against a player. Could they sue the player? Sure. That's not the question. You can sue anybody for any reason. But the question is, can you get past summary judgment? And on that, I don't think they would.
So the woman who is suing says she has not been able to go back to work since all of this happened. And so the $10 million figure, I'm not exactly sure how they come to that. But people, as I mentioned, will see that number and they'll say, well, that's ridiculous, and they'll think back to the hot coffee situation. And I forgot what that number was. But
that was $1 million. And after lots of litigation, it eventually got resolved for $10,000.
Yeah, she never saw much of that money, right? So
no, zero of that.
And I mean, I saw the documentary on it, and people are like, oh, you spilled hot coffee, but she had like burns. It was not. I mean, it went through the skin and down to the fatty tissue. It was bad, right? And I know that McDonald's was boiling their coffee to a point where it was way too hot. It literally was too hot, and they were doing it because the hotter it was, you couldn't taste how crappy the coffee was. It was in the manual. So anyway, I mean, on the surface, it sounds ridiculous, but if you really dive into it, the number wasn't ridiculous because in that case, it was a percentage of coffee sales around the country had to be punitive, right? How do they reach this number of 10 million here, though?
Completely made up. Okay. They pulled that number out of the sky. Because you can allege anything in a complaint or a petition, Chris. It doesn't have to have any bearing. What will eventually have to be a real number is when they present that number to a jury. Then you have to give a number, and you have to say this much in actual damages, meaning medical bills, lost wages, those sorts of things. Then you can ask for emotional damage, and you got to give a number to that, which is, again, made up. And then you give a number for punitive damages. But listen, the Yankees have a great defense to this. And their defense is that we complied with with New York law when it comes to the netting that we put up. We put that up. and we complied. And they're going to have to show, the plaintiffs are going to have to show that the Yankees were negligent, for example, failing to test the netting, failure to adequately ensure that the netting is still sufficient. But I think, and there's also comparative fault here. You have a duty and an obligation to be aware of your surroundings. So the Yankees are going to claim, listen, if you're talking to your friend, if you're drinking a beer and you're not paying attention to what's going on in the field, then you have comparative fault based upon your failure to be aware of the situation.
Okay, so let's say this takes place in Missouri as opposed to New York. It happens at Busch. Is there a difference? Is it a more challenging battle for the plaintiff in this state?
No. Well, the arguments are still the same on both sides. Missouri doesn't have a, quote, baseball law like New York does, but the arguments are going to be the same, and that would be assumption of risk. That would be adequate protection was provided. Remember, and every time someone's hurt, it doesn't necessarily mean that someone's at fault. Our legal system, you have to prove that someone is at fault, not just that you're injured. You know, there's a saying in litigation, you can have great damages but terrible liability, and that's what I think we have here. I think we've got someone that has enormous damages, but the question is, can you prove that the Yankees, or in this instance, if it were in St. Louis, that the Cardinals were negligent? They're going to say, look, we put up all this netting. Look at it. It's everywhere. We put it up everywhere. So how are we negligent? And that would be a hard to get past that on summary judgment. Summary judgment is when the judge says, if we assume everything the plaintiff says is true, is there still any liability here? And I was at the Court of Appeals just yesterday, and they were arguing the two cases before mine all dealt with summary judgment. So summary judgment, I think, would be a very close call in New York. I think in Missouri, it would be equally close. But at the end of the day, I think the stadiums have the upper hand because they do provide protection.
Brad, while we have you, and before we let you go, I did want to ask you about these new Meta glasses and people recording with glasses and where we might find ourselves in legal issues or sticky situations. Because, yes, I know Missouri is one-party consent and people can film with their phones in public spaces, but it's a little bit more obvious when you're holding your phone than when you're wearing glasses. And what about when you start wearing glasses into stores or into gyms or into locker rooms?
Well, right. Your surveillance laws, you mentioned that. That's the one thing. If you're a party to the recording, you're exactly right. That's true in most states. But I think the greater issue is if, for example, if you are wearing those glasses onto private property or a business. Let me give you a quick example. I represented Express Scripts several years ago, and I told them that I needed to come onto their property and take some pictures because somebody got hurt. And they said, no, you can't come on. You can't take any pictures. And I said, wait. I'm your lawyer. I need to take pictures of the accident scene. Nope, can't do it because we don't want to reveal our methods, our intellectual property, and how we fill prescriptions. And we can't even allow you in the building as their attorney. So if someone's wearing Meta glasses in a situation like that, there's going to be enormous litigation over that. The question that I have is, does the litigation go as a class action lawsuit against Meta? Because that's the only way you're going to get any money. You know, if you want a part of Zuckerberg's yacht, you're going to have to sue him, not the individual that's wearing the glasses. He may be unemployed, living in a van down by the river. So the question becomes, how do you get to Meta with that kind of litigation?
Brad Young, we love talking legal stuff with you. Thanks for being on with us again.
My pleasure, guys.
Brad Young, KMOX legal analyst. I think the best bit of advice you can gain from this, if you're at a ball game, just pay attention.
Pay attention. A lot of people on their phones.
Even with the netting. I don't think this woman was on her phone.
I don't know if she was, but you do see it.
Yeah. You got to be careful out there, man.
It's dangerous. It's a dangerous ballpark. Dangerous world.
It's Chris and Amy on KMOX. Mike Busch is going to join the show at 11 o'clock on Thursday. it will be his last night on the air at KSDK, and so he's going to be joining the show at 11 today on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Last year, I had back pain radiating down my right leg. The pain was so bad I was willing to cut my leg off to stop the pain. I could barely walk and had to stoop over when I did just to take pressure off the spine. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. In my professional career, I've represented thousands of people who've had herniated discs and issues with their neck and back, but never fully appreciated what they were going through until it was my turn. It's like trying to describe colors to a blind person who's never had sight. All I can tell you is it hurt like hell, but worse. My daily walk was gone, and that bothered me a great deal. Then I thought of all of you and how much more devastating this type of injury could be for you. My life stopped. I now feel your pain. Just know at Morgan & Morgan, we got your back. I understand. Morgan means more.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey, it's Dave. Right now, buy 4 windows and get 4 for free and 48 months with 0% interest, same as cash. Call 314-334-2522. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to Supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At Supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to Supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's Supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
And Doug. Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons. And lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen. And oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live. And you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at LibertyMutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
St. Louis City SC and Schnucks are teaming up once again for our annual week-long food drive. This Wednesday, August 5th through Tuesday, August 11th. Visit your local Schnucks to donate non-perishable food items benefiting Operation Food Search and help us beat last year's total. Join the effort this August to help City SC and Schnucks kick hunger in our city. Find out more at stlcitysc.com.
Hey, Stewie's here from Stewart's American Mortgage, and he continues with some amazing offers for potential customers this summer.
You know what, Mark? We talked about the 1% reduction when you're buying a house. You lock it in at 6.5%. You get 5.5%. We're going to extend that to certain kinds of refinances right now as well. If you have an FHA loan and you need to go to conventional because it's usually better, we're going to give you 1% lower for the first year as well. It's a great opportunity. Take advantage now. Cash out, rate and term refinances from FHA to conventional, 1% lower for the first year.
A lot of people are just on the sidelines. They're worried about the rate that they locked in originally, and they need cash from their house, though, right?
That's right. It's a great opportunity. Look to see what you're paying on those credit cards. If you need to go ahead and do some improvements to your house, this is a great time to do it. Don't use your credit cards. The APRs are 30%. Stay away from those high interest rate type of programs. Refinance, get one fixed rate. It's not adjustable. 1% lower for the first year.
Call or text Stewie on his cell phone, 314-324-4440, or Google the Bagel Loan, NMLS number 226715.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX and the free Odyssey app.
Got Mike Bush coming up soon. His last day on the air is on Thursday on Channel 5. We're going to talk to him in a minute. We've got Oliver Marmol, Cardinals manager, on the Gas House Gang today at 12 o'clock. He's with us every Tuesday at noon. So we'll be talking to him momentarily. Well, I guess a little over an hour. It'll be Tom Ackerman, Bernie Miklasz, and me talking to the Cards manager.
Thank you to everyone who continues to text in 314-436-7900. Do you remember way back at the beginning of the show when we were talking about Prop U?
Yes.
And how Sam Page, St. Louis County executive, said they're going to have to cut police officers and fire some employees because they don't have any money because Prop U did not pass. Well, a texter says, I voted against Prop U because I was poorly informed. For starts, the ballot said use tax, which was the same language the Prop 5 supporters used to hide taxes on services. If the ballot had clearly said it would be a sales tax on internet purchases equal to the current county sales tax, I would have voted for it. I think trying to read any propositions or amendments day of while you're voting is very confusing. You have to do research before to understand them, because I agree with the voter that when you just read the language, the ballot language, it can be confusing.
And also, doing it on a primary vote, do you know, like not doing it during a general election when most people participate is probably a lot tougher to get folks to come out. And I would think that if you want something to pass, you want people to come out and vote for it. So I know that there has been some discussion about whether or not they're going to revisit it. And I believe the sponsor of the bill said that they're probably not going to put it back on the ballot in November, even though they could.
Yeah, and Sam Page mentioned putting it back on.
Which, I mean, if it's that necessary, why would you not?
I agree. We also talked about data centers and the rising, I think, reluctance to accept data centers. A 314 says, without data centers, there are no hospitals, banks, retail, Sam's, Costco, Amazon, streaming services, pharmacies, just to name a few. Build them. We need to grow. Missouri cannot afford to continue to be a backward state. We need to embrace technology.
So I think what the pushback against that would be is that we probably don't need these giant data centers that are like, 3 miles wide or whatever it was that Kevin O'Leary was trying to build in Utah. We probably don't need those as a society, but this build out is with the expectation that artificial intelligence is going to be so huge, we have to have all of them because it's going to overtake everything, every aspect of our lives it's going to touch. And maybe that's not necessarily true. So I think that's probably where people are in their disdain for them. But the smaller scale stuff, the medium-sized data centers, I don't think most people have issues with that. Because, again, they exist around us, and you wouldn't know unless somebody told you. Like we said, there's one right across the street here that I don't think any of us knew was there until somebody told us in the last year. It's Chris and Amy on KMOX. Final hour of the show is coming up. And in that hour, in fact, in minutes, we're going to talk to Mike Bush, KSDK, longtime anchor, several decades at KSDK. His last night on the air is Thursday at 6 o'clock. We're going to talk to Mike when we come back on KMOX.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-720-8444. 314-720-8444. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-720-8444.
Now at Lowe's, faster quotes start at the Lowe's Pro Desk. Got a material list handwritten on a sticky note or saved as a photo? Perfect. Bring it to us and get a quote in minutes. And if you don't see what you need on the shelf, we'll help you get it. You can access thousands of products beyond what's available in-store or on Lowe's.com, right from the Lowe's Pro Desk. Build quotes faster and source the materials you need to keep your jobs moving. Just like that, at Lowe's.
It's your captain speaking. To the passenger with the Mirror Fast soft chews, smart move.
No way am I letting travel constipation ruin this trip.
Can't blame you. Mirror Fast works fast, but without the harsh side effects.
Since I'm such a smart traveler, can I move to first class?
No. Close the curtain, Carol.
From the makers of Miralax, new Mirafast soft chews work naturally with your body in as little as 30 minutes to give you a comfortable go on the go. Find Mirafast today at your local retailer. Use as directed for occasional constipation. Contains magnesium hydroxide.
Hey, this is Kevin Wheeler, and I want to tell you about Burn Balance Complex, which you can pick up at Supplement Superstores, and you can find a location at supplementsuperstores.com. Look, Burn Balance Complex is different, okay? It's a game changer. It is a complete, all-natural metabolism system. It's not just a fat burner. If you're someone that doesn't want to get a prescription, if you don't want to go get injections, Burn Balance Complex can get your metabolism rocking the way that it's supposed to. And you notice it really early on because you start to notice clothes are fitting a little differently. You're seeing results, which then kind of gives you motivation to keep on going, right? Well, on top of the metabolism boost, you're also going to notice reduced stress with lower cortisol levels, appetite and craving control, which is absolutely critical to staying on a plan, plus all-day focused energy, no jitters, no crash at the end of the day. And look, it's not magic. You got to do the work, but Burn Balance Complex has made that work so much easier for me. It'll do the same for you. So get out to Supplement Superstores. Tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They'll knock 30% off right then and there, and you can find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
It is 11 o'clock in mid-America. We've got sunshine and 89 degrees downtown at the Arch. A new round of federal dollars are coming to help St. Louis City improve infrastructure, create jobs, and boost public safety.
St. Louis City is receiving $1.25 million in federal funds to go towards 4 projects, with 2 of those projects covering public safety with upgrades to the fire department's training tower along with the simulation lab. Congressman Wesley Bell says sometimes the fire department and other arms of public safety go overlooked.
When we think of public safety, we don't think about the entire universe of what that entails. We think about law enforcement.
Other projects include the Compton Avenue Bridge reconstruction and a port on the South Riverfront. In St. Louis City Hall, Sean Malone, KMOX News.
After failing to pass an online sales tax, could St. Louis County raise property taxes? Currently, the county tax is below the maximum allowed by about 20 cents per $100 in assessed valuation. Republicans like Councilman Dennis Hancock, also a candidate for county executive, don't believe this is a realistic option yet.
It's simply not going to raise enough revenue to make really much of a difference.
Councilman Mike Archer says they have to wait until they receive a budget proposal from County Executive Sam Page before making any decisions. KMOX asked if that matters, considering Page and the council have found little common ground over the budget crisis. Archer says that is still required by the charter.
When we receive it from the county executive, then we take the budget and then amend it the way that we think that it should be amended.
Archer, a sponsor of the online sales tax bill, does not support putting that back before voters on the November ballot.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Luigi Mangione back in court today in connection with the killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson in 2024. The New York judge says there will be less room for the public in the trial since so many members of the press will be there. Russia has released an American military veteran who spent more than 4 years in prison on disputed charges under abusive conditions. The former U.S. Marine was said to be gravely ill and at risk of dying. A group advocating for him says Robert Gilman is now on his way to a U.S. military hospital in Texas. Crime across the country on the decline.
According to the Major Cities Chiefs Association, murders alone were down more than 17% in the first half of 2026 compared to the same period the previous year. Robberies, rapes, and aggravated assaults likewise were lower. The declines continue a trend that reversed the crime surge that came during the pandemic.
ABC's Jim Ryan, death toll from the Columbia earthquake, now at least 224 people. This is ABC News.
The Trainwreck Saloon in Rock Hill is temporarily closing. The move announced on Facebook comes because of a change in ownership and the current owners transitioning into retirement. The saloon on Manchester Road closing August 30th. A reopening date has not been set. The Dow from Stifel is down 15 points to 53,960.
It is just more of the same on this Tuesday afternoon. Sunny, hot, and humid. We should peak out at about 97. You're probably wondering, what's the record? Are we even close? No, we're not. 104 from 1881. It's one of the really old record highs in the books for St. Louis. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, keeping it in the 90s for any evening plans, warm and humid. The cool-off is not very impressive. 79 for the low tonight. The city again stays in the 80s. Wednesday, partly sunny, hot and humid, a couple of spot storms, but I want to bring it back to 97 on Wednesday. Wednesday night, partly cloudy, a few thunderstorms here and there, 77. Thursday, we're going to be watching this front try to sink in from the north. It's a real struggle. Partly sunny skies, hot and humid Thursday. A couple of storms here and there. 92 degrees. We have a shot, and it's just a shot right now. Upper 80s come Friday. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Dave Murray on 104.1 FM. KMOX.
Sponsored by Financial and Tax Strategies. We've got sunshine. It's 89 downtown at the Arch. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Checking your retirement account every day is like weighing yourself after every salad. It usually just causes stress. Let's build a plan that you can feel confident about. Tune in to Wealth and Wisdom with Gary Goldberg, Saturdays at 7 a.m., and let us help you retire younger, richer, and with less anxiety.
The Chris and Amy Show is video streaming now on KMOX's YouTube, X, and Facebook pages. Click and subscribe.
This is Sports Plus. Backs are split behind Kurt Warner. Rainbows the far sideline, and it is caught. Yes! Touchdown Rams! Yes! Ricky Bro! Yes! Listen to this crowd! Pedro Guerrero unloads. Good. Bye, Mr. Rawlings. He'll go in for the stufferoo for two. Maybe the greatest upset in Olympic history, and you gotta love it. To borrow a line from one of my heroes, Jack Buck, so long for just a while.
On Thursday, it is, as they say, an end of an era. Mike Bush, longtime broadcaster here in St. Louis. And for me, when I was growing up in the 80s, that was Channel 5 was a very big deal in our house. And we're always making sure that we were tuned in for sports at night. And Mike Bush, a part of that, has been a longtime news anchor, broadcaster for the Rams as well, and he is going to hang it up after Thursday. That'll be his final broadcast at 6 o'clock on Channel 5, and Mike Bush, KSDK anchor, joins us now on KMOX. Good morning, Mike. How are you, and congratulations on a great career.
Chris, thanks very much. I'm doing fine. Bittersweet, but hanging in there.
So it's one thing to make the call that you're going to retire. It's another thing when it gets close. So, yeah. I mean, you made the decision. It's been a long time coming. We talked to you back when you first made that decision. So now that we are just a couple of days away, how you feeling?
Like I say, it's bittersweet. It feels really weird to be around the office these days because, first of all, people are being so kind, but there's all kinds of meetings about what we're doing in September and October and, beyond that. And not being a part of that for the first time in 41 years is a little strange. But like I say, everybody's been so nice, and I think the time is for me. And
we might have.
I think we may have lost
Mike Bush.
Oh, we're having some internet issues. I don't know if it's probably us.
It is most likely us. 99% of the time, it's us.
It always seems to be us. I don't know, Mike, if you could still hear us. Are you back with us?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. Yes, but talking about the 41 years, as Ron said, like growing up, watching Channel 5, hearing your voice. I mean, you've been on the news my entire life. Like there hasn't I have no memory of St. Louis without you on TV, whether it was doing sports or then when you switched to the news, being an anchor for the news. And it really is, I think, in St. Louis, everything is very personal. The Cardinals are very personal. Sports are very personal. Our news anchors, our sportscasters are very personal. And I think you are a really big part of kind of, the selfhood of what St. Louis has been for the past few decades.
Yeah.
I think we're going to call him. Yep.
Well,
that is, the internet is frustrating here.
It really is. But yeah, I mean, it's true because we would, and I know TV news is a little bit different now. Our business is considerably different now. And things have changed in some good ways and some always an appointment. I mean, you made absolutely sure that you were tuned in at 10:30. And for me, because that was the way that you got your sports highlights back then.
Mm-hmm.
You wanted to see Cardinals highlights. You wanted to see anything else. You had to be watching. And that was the best.
Yeah.
It was a really cool time. And maybe we'll get into it a little bit here with Mike when we get him back on the line. But the Bob and Mike promos, and people of a certain age will remember those. Those were like a really big deal, too, for us. Bob Richards and Mike Bush, and they had this friendly weather versus sports rivalry kind of thing, and they had these promos that ran on Channel 5. Those were the best.
Yeah.
Those were so good.
It really was, especially before you had podcasts and social media, and you had the balkanization of the way people absorbed their news. You went to your local news stations. I mean, 10 o'clock, the 10 o'clock news was on. And there were also signals that maybe you were up later on a school night. That one of those signals was Sports Plus. Like if you stayed up late enough to see Sports Plus on Sunday night, you knew you were up too late on a school night.
Yeah, that's such good stuff, man.
Yeah.
I kind of liked, it's great now that you can access anything at any time. You can get any highlights you want at any time. It's different, right? But there was something a bit magical to having to wait until 10:30.
Yeah.
You couldn't get gratified right away. You had to be paying attention. And we do have Mike Bush back with us. We apologize. We're having some issues on our end technically, but thank you for coming back. So now that we have
no worries.
Yeah, so you're getting to this moment on Thursday, which has been a long time coming for you. And I know you said that it's feeling a little weird around the office just because people have been nice and it's coming to an end. How do you suppose you're going to fill the void once it does come to an end after Thursday?
Well, it's still something I'm working out. I will be doing some part-time work for Channel 5, trying to, one of the reasons I made this decision. When you do the news, you talk a lot about murder and mayhem every single night, and it's one story after another. And I used to be able to compartmentalize a lot better. And as I got older, I had a tougher time doing that. And I would take these stories home with me, and it would affect how I slept and what I thought. And the one thing I've always tried to focus on is shining a light on the positive. So in my next chapter, that I'm going to stop talking about murder and mayhem, and I'm just going to focus strictly on positive stories. I'm still going to do the Musial Awards in St. Louis. I'll do occasional Making a Difference reports for Channel 5, and then the rest of it is I'm just still trying to figure it out. People have been very nice. I've had lots of phone calls about possible second chapters, and I'm just trying to work that all out. I think I need to take a beat and see what will work for me. But I'm not retiring to a rocking chair. I'm not really good at sitting around and doing nothing. So I'll figure something out.
Mike, it's so interesting what you said about being able to compartmentalize the really negative, sad stories that we see in the news. That's something I struggle with, that there's so much suffering in this world. Why do you think at first you were better at compartmentalizing it, and then later on you just started taking it home? And when did that start?
Well, I will say that one of the first things I did after switching from sports to news and having done news for, a year or so, is I went to the boss and I said, listen, I'm having trouble with this. And this is like early on. I'm having trouble with this, that it's so negative all the time. And And I don't think there's balance in the newscast. I don't think we're telling St. Louis's stories without highlighting the positive. Because, one thing I learned from many, many years of hosting the MDA telethon is that St. Louisans really are generous, kind people, and they come through for their neighbors. And so that's when I started making a difference. And I'm not sure why, as I got older, maybe the stories got worse. I mean, we've really had some challenges in St. Louis, but it's also, nationally and internationally, like that just awful story about that couple that ended up back in Guatemala, and they were murdered. And I just did not sleep that night when we reported on that story. And I just thought, I just can't do this anymore. So, and I also think one of the things I hear a lot from viewers is that I can't watch the news anymore. It's too depressing. And I don't disagree with them. It's depressing to report on it, and I think it's sometimes depressing to watch it. And so my whole goal in whatever the next chapter really is to shine a positive light on St. Louis and the people in St. Louis. And, I'm just going to try to figure out ways to do that.
Talking with Mike Bush on KMOX. And part of that, or did you ever feel like, man, I miss sports and maybe sports was the place where you didn't really have to think about or be inundated with all the serious and negative stuff?
There's some truth to that, but it's not like I said to myself, I should have never left sports, because I've gotten to tell so many stories over the years. When I was in sports, I loved it. I had been offered a chance to move to news earlier than I did, and I didn't want to do it. But it opened a window into, telling many, many different kinds of stories outside the sports spectrum. And I loved it. I mean, telling stories is my passion. I love to do it. I love to talk to people. But I really think that getting the chance to shine that positive light on people who, do things out of the kindness of their heart. And I've traveled all over the country doing the Musial Awards and reporting on people. And, somebody will do something kind for someone. They have no expectation that someone's going to do a story or they're going to win a Musial Award. They just do it out of the kindness of their heart. And there's so much of that going on in this country, and there's so much of it going on in St. Louis, and it just doesn't get publicized. And I really think we have an appetite now with the way the world is. We have an appetite now to see that goodness. And so I hope I can be a small part of shining a light on that.
In your career, you have seen the evolution of media from what it was when you started to what it is now with podcasts and streaming and social media. Do you feel like the way people consume news changed quickly, or did it happen slowly?
It seems like it's happened more so in the last 5 or 6 years than in the previous 20 or so. Mm-hmm. I will say it is amazing how many people still watch the news in St. Louis. We do surveys and find out around the country, obviously the news audience is shrinking. There are so many other options. When I started at Channel 5 in 1985, at 10 p.m., you watch Channel 5 or 4 or 2, and then Channel 11 ran reruns, and those were your options. There were not other options. And so, there was a built-in audience because that's what they had to watch. Now you can watch Netflix and Amazon Prime and all the other things. And then, a lot of people consume whatever news they get on the phone, so they don't sit down and watch, the 10 o'clock news necessarily. So things have definitely changed. And TV stations are still trying to figure out how to adapt like that. I mean, we've got vertical videos now. We've got people on all kinds of social media. Our reporters are on those platforms, and you try to keep up with the times. But we're still, if you watch CBS Evening News or NBC Nightly News or World News Tonight on ABC, there's still millions of people who sit down to watch a newscast. So I still think we need to deliver a good product, and that's something I think that has been a challenge lately because newsrooms are shrinking. I mean, we don't have nearly as many people as we did when I first started.
What is the thing you're proudest of?
Wow, that's tough. I would say in terms of news, I think the opportunity to tell the stories of St. Louisans who are making a difference in their community is, I kind of had to twist the arm of my boss to get to do those stories, but I think it worked out really, really well. And I've been so lucky to tell some amazing stories. Somebody asked me the other day, do you have a favorite making a difference story? And I can't name a favorite, but I remember, a handful of stories that really, affected me in a big way, and I think affected the viewers. There was one little girl who had cancer at St. Louis Children's Hospital, and she was isolated in her room. And across the street, they were building an addition onto Children's Hospital, and she kept looking out the window every day. And finally, the ironworkers wrote in chalk on one of the big iron pillars, "Get well soon," and it meant so much to her and her family. And then we were able to facilitate a meeting between the ironworkers and the little girl after she was out of isolation. And I just checked recently on how she's doing, and she's doing great.
Good.
So, being able to tell stories like that where people just did something nice out of the goodness of their heart and it made a difference, that's what I really love, and that's what I hope to continue to do.
Well, Mike, we are we're very happy to have the time with you today. Congratulations on a wonderful career. I know St. Louis is going to miss you. Day to day, they're going to, but we know we'll be seeing you, and you are totally welcome to come by here if you're bored and hang out with us for a bit.
Come on over to Studio B.
Listen, Chris and Amy, I'd be happy to stop by anytime. Sounds like I'm going to have some more free time.
Great. Come on by. We are running out of ideas.
Yeah, we have so much time to kill every day. We're running out of ideas. Our boss, Steve, is not impressed with us. So I really think you can come by anytime.
Well, thanks for the invitation. I may take you up on it for sure.
Be awesome. Mike Bush, thank you for being with us.
Thanks for talking to me, guys.
That is Mike Bush. Channel 5 will come to an end, not tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday only. Thursday. This Thursday, 6 o'clock, the final broadcast for Mike Bush after 41 years on KSDK. That's really awesome stuff. It's Chris and Amy on KMOX.
Listen up. If you have not paid self-employment, business, or individual taxes in years, the IRS will find you. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. I offer real solutions. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Drury, today, and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal, or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, our practice is focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120 or visit LanceDruryLaw.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Here in St. Louis, word of mouth still matters, and I'm pretty careful about who I recommend, especially when it comes to something as personal as estate planning. I'm Tom Ackerman. My family has been working with the Laterman Law Firm for over 20 years now, and the reason is simple. They don't just create documents and send you on your way. They help make sure your plan works. Because let's be honest, life changes. Family needs and circumstances change. Laws change. But most estate plans don't change over time as needs, circumstances, and laws change. damaged, they're outdated, sitting in a drawer. People assume they're fine, and their plan will work when they need it to work. At the Laterman Law Firm, it's not a one-time transaction. It's an ongoing process. They build a plan to protect your family and your assets, and then for a fixed annual fee, they help keep it up to date as both your life and assets change. Check out the Laterman Law Firm at latermanlaw.com or give them a call at 314-514-9100. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
This is the story of the one. The one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight illnesses like pneumococcal pneumonia and RSV. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and can help protect you from getting really sick. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. See more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, the blurry horizon.
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression and could help preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Ask your retina specialist how you can slow your GA with Izervay. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. We recently received a call from an injured person. The insurance company had offered them $11,000. We took the case over and got more than $2 million in court. Morgan & Morgan.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
A century strong. The voice of St. Louis. KMOX.
All right, Ranj, not a lot of time here, but I do think you need to know this story. There was a child on a flight. It was a flight from Victoria, British Columbia to Toronto, so cross country in Canada, that was canceled because the child refused to sit down and buckle in for takeoff, and attempts from the parent and the cabin crew were unsuccessful to get the child to sit down. They tried for a while, and eventually they had to say to the parent and the child, you need to get off the flight. The only thing is, they had tried for something like an hour to get the child to sit down. They couldn't, and by the time they deplaned the parent and child and got their luggage, it was then too late in that airport for the plane to take off, so they canceled the whole flight, and everyone had to take a flight the next day. He's seething. Here's the thing. Because it was a toddler. And you know what? Toddlers can be squirmy, because even if you are, yes, you're strong enough to make a toddler sit down, but they're very squirmy. It's very difficult. And that might not be healthy to try to pin the toddler down. So you know what you got to do as the parent? You miss the flight. You grab the toddler and you walk off the flight and said, we're not flying today because all of these people need to fly.
You do not inconvenience everybody else because you can't control your own child.
Right. And like I said, you don't try for an hour to get the child to sit down. Absolutely not. You try as long as you can without really, truly delaying the flight. And if it's not going to work, and maybe you're going to know right away it's not going to work, then I'm sorry, but you have to deplane so that everyone else can go. But the fact that they stayed on that long, that they ended up canceling the flight for everyone.
I understand parents can they can get used to their children acting up. So it almost becomes like background noise, white noise to them. So maybe it's not affecting them if their kid is screaming or whatever because they're just used to it. You're going to have to not be just used to it. You're going to have to pay attention because if it's, again, I understand you tend to block out certain noises, but everybody else is not used to your kid screaming. So you should be attentive and get the hell off the plane if it's like that. There's a restaurant out of California. Saw this story a few weeks ago, and it's called Chez Zui. I believe I'm pronouncing it correctly.
Chez Zui.
And it is they have a QR code at the top of their menu that you scan, and when you scan it, this notice pops up, and it says, Chez Zui is a family-friendly restaurant. However, we are not a playground. Please ensure children remain seated at all times and respectful of fellow guests and the dining environment. Running around, shouting, making noise with utensils will not be tolerated. I love that. Good. And if you're a parent and you're offended by that, screw you, man. We don't have to be subjected to your kid.
It's time and place. If you're at Discovery Zone or whatever it was called, right?
Yeah, that's what it's for.
And honestly, even Chuck E. Cheese. It's kids running
That's
around getting excited.
Yes.
But if you're at a nice restaurant, I understand that a child may act up momentarily. That's really tough. It's tough being a parent. But the parents that let their kids run all over and scream and throw things, which has happened, like I'm almost astounded.
It's what I'm talking about. They just become numb to it.
Yeah.
Well, you don't get to. You don't get to become numb to your child acting out. Sorry. That's the rules.
And make sure you get off that flight before they're forced to cancel.
I would be livid.
I know. You look livid.
Throw that kid down the trash chute.
Meanwhile, here's what you shouldn't get numb to. You shouldn't get numb to that buzzing noise around your house because those could be stinging insects. And not only do those pose a hazard to you and your family, as I know I got stung by, is it a mud dauber? Is that what it's called? Yeah, those are not great. But also those types of stinging insects can bore into wooden structures, so like siding or your fence or your deck, and actually cause damage to your home. So you need to visit Rottler. Rottler is the largest family-owned pest control company in Missouri. They've been serving the St. Louis area and the surrounding areas for over 70 years, and they're known for like long-term customers because they have that personalized service. When you call Rottler, a real human will answer the phone. They offer same-day and next-day service. They can get a technician out to your home, and that first inspection is free. So whether you are dealing with moles tearing up your yard, mosquitoes ruining your barbecue, ants in the kitchen, or stinging insects on the deck, Rottler can help you out. Call them today. Visit Rottler.com. Rottler.com.
Your drive home has a soundtrack. For Cardinals fans, it's Redbird Rush Hour.
Matt Pauley is at Busch Stadium. I'm Kevin Wheeler, and our KMOX studios getting ready for Cards. And
Kevin Wheeler, Matt Pauley, and Bernie Nicholas deliver the perfect mix of Cardinals conversation, baseball insight, local news, and traffic to get you home and get you ready for the game.
a swing, and there's a
Redbird Rush Hour, weekdays at 5 on your home of the Cardinals. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
A common question I receive is, how is the market right now? It just seems so volatile. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. If you want to buy or sell but feel overwhelmed by the whiplash of the market, then let's talk. With over 23 years as a broker, I have the exact experience you need to help you navigate this tricky market. Call me at 314-441-4444. 314-441-ALL-4s. And remember, why pay more than two?
Commissions are not regulated and are negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
87 degrees right now. Real feel temperature, a hundo. Partly sunny and hot today. Be careful if you're outside for extended periods of time. A high of 97. Tonight, partly cloudy and humid. A low of 74. Weather sponsored by Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm.
Sandberg Phoenix serves your business in litigation, intellectual property, and products liability. We're more than a law firm. We're committed to your success. Learn more at sandbergphoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
Summer is waning, sadly, I know, but you've had enough time now to really assess how your outdoor space is working. Is it working for you? You've probably noticed whether the deck is starting to buckle or splinter and needs replacing, or you'd really like a fence to separate you and your neighbor. Whatever it is in your outdoor space, it's never too late to call Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best. Now, what does that mean, the sign you have the very best? Well, first of all, Chesterfield Fence and Deck has been around for 58 years. A third-generation, locally owned family company. They also have an incredible reputation because they only use the best quality materials, and they have their own installation crews, which is very important because they have years of experience. And Chesterfield Fence and Deck is going to stand behind everything they do. When you mention me, Debbie Monterey, they'll also take 20% off your next outdoor project. So go with the best. It's Chesterfield Fence and Deck. You can visit them in person, or they'll come to you, or visit online now at chesterfieldfence.com.
Doug. Limu and I created a trick to help you remember that you can customize your car insurance and save with Liberty Mutual. You see, the shirts Limu and I wear are yellow, and yellow is the color of lemons. And lemons grow on trees, and trees provide oxygen, and oxygen helps us breathe, and breathing is how you live, and you can live more life when you save money by customizing your car insurance. I agree, Limu. It's really quite simple. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty. America is turning 250 this year, and Circa Sports is celebrating by offering all users in Missouri $250. For everyone in Missouri, all you have to do is deposit $250 on your Circa Sports app, then play through that deposit. Once you do, Circa Sports will reward you with $250 right in your account. This is available for everyone in Missouri, new and existing users. Celebrate 250 years and find out more at circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older and in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is the Gas House Gang from KMOX.
Bernie Nicholas and the Gas House Gang, today at noon on America's Sports Voice, KMOX.
With Cardinals manager Oliver Marmol, Gas House Gang. That'll be at 12 o'clock today. Every Tuesday at noon on GHG. So come back or don't go anywhere. That's how we type it out. Because it's too much words to write out Gas House.
Too much words, yeah. GHD definitely sounds like something you need to get tested to see if your testosterone's where it needs to be.
Or if you have it in your system, you are suspended for 80 games.
That's true. That's true. All right. Well, Matt, our child producer.
Hey.
The young man over there.
That's me.
Young Art Garfunkel.
Okay. You know what?
He got a haircut, though.
Hey, your doctor said
it looks nice.
I think it's actually more Art Garfunkel-y than it was previously.
No, it looks very nice. He's a very sharp-dressed man. We give him
Art
trouble.
Garfunkel?
Well, we give him trouble. Matt's a good guy.
Again, just for people who may not have been around when this happened, but Matt's doctor told him he looked like Art Garfunkel.
Yeah.
Well,
His doctor.
Matt told us, he's like, I got a story. So he tells us that someone told him that he looked like Art Garfunkel. And he said, you know what makes it worse? It was my doctor. He walked into the room.
He diagnosed me with Art Garfunkel.
Oh, I know your problem.
Yeah.
You look like Art Garfunkel.
Got some Garfunkel going on.
That seems like such not a doctor thing to say.
It's just...
It's unbelievable.
But, it's in his medical opinion. You look like Art Garfunkel.
I'm going to go for a second opinion somewhere else now, I think.
All right.
Can we get your doctor on?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. That'd be so funny. Is that a HIPAA violation?
I think so.
No, if Matt agrees to it,
it might be the biggest HIPAA violation of all time. To have the doctor on air. Just read his chart.
Yeah.
Does he have GHG? Yeah. Matt, he's a youngster, and he wants us to feel old. And so... what are you doing? You're giving us a list of things that are turning 20 years old.
This year, yeah. So things from 2006. That's how math works.
Okay.
So I want to know how this makes you guys feel, because this makes me feel old, even though I'm in my 20s. But these are things that are maybe more childhood related than anything else, because these are things that I grew up with. I'm like, wow, I can't believe that was 20 years ago. Whereas something that's 20 years ago for you guys, you're still adults. But for me, 20 years ago was being a very small child. So that makes me feel old, too. So
okay, well, first of
Are
all,
you finished?
Let me just
What is the
say
thing
this:
here?
if you don't personally remember 9/11, you don't get to have an opinion on anything.
I just need.
I kind of agree with that.
This whole segment's done. Then I can sign off.
All right. Well, what do you have
All right,
anyway?
the MacBook is turning 20 years old this year.
The MacBook is.
In my head, it feels older because I feel like I've had a MacBook for a long time.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. It doesn't feel like.
Because that means it came out when I was 23, and I feel like it came out when I was 12. Not really, but it does feel like I was younger than that.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one.
Also, the PlayStation 3, the Nintendo Wii. I remember getting the Wii for Christmas one day, one year, and I played it for probably 5 hours straight. It was like crazy new technology, how you could point a remote and swing a baseball bat or a golf club. See, like that's something that maybe you didn't experience because you were in your 20s. You didn't get the Wii for Christmas in your 20s, but I did as a little 8-year-old kid. So it was such a pivotal moment.
Oh, I get it. This is the Matt is Young segment.
Yeah. We got a Wii though.
Okay, good.
My roommates and I had a Wii.
Yeah.
I think, well, we got a Wii, but this is such a weird conversation. But that is because my brother is 10 years younger than I am. So he would have been 12, 13, which is a perfect time to get a Wii.
Wii was a lot of fun.
Yeah. In the social media sphere, Facebook had already existed but was closed off to college networks
That's
for a
right.
time. It became open to the public in
Like
2008
or 2006?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I remember being later than
This
that.
is where I am a weird age, and I think I was not on the cutting edge of technology because I never had MySpace.
So I did have it.
My first was
and
Facebook. I never had MySpace.
2006, the MySpace thing was still pretty popular.
It was.
I think it was number one because, yes.
I've got that written here. It surpassed Yahoo Mail and Google Search as the most visited website in the United States in 2006.
Yeah, MySpace was the best. But then you had to, I don't know if you remember this, Amy. Oh, you didn't have it. But you could, so you had your friends, right? And there was a thing called a top 8.
Okay.
And you were underneath your profile picture and your bio or whatever, right beneath it, there was a thing called the top 8, and you had to rank your top 8 friends. And sometimes there would be arguments like, oh, how come I'm number 3?
What a terrible idea.
It was, right?
You had to fill it in, or it was just an option?
I don't remember. Yeah. I feel like you had to.
So you had, okay, that's a terrible idea and hilarious, but also
it's very funny.
People I know who had MySpace said you kind of had to code to build it. Like everyone said you learned to code when they were on MySpace. They got to, I know I'm not making this up.
Yeah, I did not access that part of MySpace.
Maybe you could add music, or you could add things to MySpace that weren't necessarily available on first blush.
Well, they made it available after a while.
I don't know. Why do people say you kind of learned to build your page?
So, and apparently, now that we're talking about MySpace, I just saw this story a week or so ago that MySpace, the owners of it, are trying to relaunch it with a new vision. Quote, they hope to create a platform that feels different from today's social media apps, which many users say have become focused on algorithms and endless scrolling. So they want to be the anti-algorithm social media app.
Was it Tom? MySpace
yes,
Tom?
Yes.
Yeah. I will say this, Matt, and this is for my age, and maybe Ranj, maybe you a little bit younger than you, maybe. But what is interesting is with all of this social media stuff, it's my age that invented it. Like, when you're looking at Mark Zuckerberg or Sam Altman, and, Sam Altman has St. Louis ties. So people know the guys that created a lot of this. And that's really weird that it was my generation, the old millennials, that came up with a lot of these social media platforms. And so there are people my age who are swimming in dough. Like all the young Facebook founders, they're all my age.
Yeah.
Are the people who built it. Isn't that weird?
Wasn't Facebook originally a way to rate the hot girls on campus or something like that?
I believe that's what he intended.
Oh, okay.
And then it turned into something else. There was
something much worse.
Oh my gosh, was it a website called Hot or Not?
Yeah.
Really?
Where it would, I think it would show you 2 photos, or maybe this is a different website I'm thinking of, but it would show you 2 photos of women. You had to pick the one who was more attractive. Then it would show another one. You have to pick that. It was...
That's horrible.
Pretty bad, right?
John watching on Facebook says, if MySpace was still around, would Amy be in Chris's top 8?
Absolutely not. It's not even a question.
I wouldn't be in his top 30. Marjorie Taylor Greig is way up there ahead of me.
Of course he is.
Some other things turning 20. Real quick, we were talking about social media. Twitter started in 2006. So that was a big year for social media. Yeah.
Okay, because I didn't sign up for it until 2009.
Yeah. You're behind.
I think I was 2010 or 11.
I was like 2021 or something.
Doesn't it tell you
I got a
when you
work
signed
account.
up?
Yeah.
It does. Yeah, I was December of 09.
Cool. Movies turning 20. Borat.
Yeah.
Casino Royale. The first James Bond movie with Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
High School Musical. Idiocracy. Cars. And a favorite of Amy Mark's Course.
Good Lord, Lawrence, why are you slapping a monkey? Teddy, this guy's been pushing me, and I'm sick of it.
Ninth Museum.
The greatest movie ever.
Turns 20 years old.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I would never have put Idiocracy, A Night at the Museum, and what was some of the other ones?
Borat.
I would
Royale.
not have put all of those in the same year.
Borat, I very vividly remember in 06.
My wife.
Yeah.
That was the best.
Some big music coming out in 2006. Taylor Swift's debut album came out 20 years ago this year. Shakira,
Wow.
My Hips Don't Lie, The Black Parade by My Chemical Romance, and Unwritten by Natasha Bedingfield.
Interesting.
Also in 2006, Pluto was reclassified as a dwarf planet.
Yeah, because it lost its planet status.
Yeah, that was a big deal for us in school.
And then it got it back.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's Matt's big deal, was that Pluto lost its planet status.
Yeah. Where were you when Pluto lost its planet
my
status?
big deal in kindergarten is we had to get all new maps because it was no longer the USSR.
Yeah.
It was just Russia. And I'm like, how can a country just change its name? That's not how it works. And I was first grade. We got all new maps and globes.
I have a T-shirt that says, it's got a picture of Pluto on it, and it says Pluto never forget or something.
But it's a planet again?
It's a planet again. Yeah, they reclassified
So they didn't
it.
forget.
They did not. They brought it back.
In 2006, Netflix was still delivering DVDs by mail.
Which I never subscribed to.
I think they just stopped that this year.
They just stopped it?
Yeah, recent.
Yeah.
Very, very recent.
Which is unbelievable.
I know.
Lastly, things that did not exist yet. The iPhone, Instagram, WhatsApp, and Spotify.
The iPhone was 2007 or 8, right?
Something. I mean, it's after 2006, yeah.
I remember the
Let's look it up.
first batches of iPhones, and everybody went and got one.
Yeah.
All the people I knew who went and got an iPhone.
2007 was the first one.
I am very proud that I've never once purchased an iPhone.
What?
I feel so good about that. And I cannot wait to never buy an iPhone.
So wait,
It's,
when
it's
But that
it is
MacBook,
my
though.
dude.
when did the iPhone launch?
2007.
Yeah. I am so happy I never bought one.
They're the best, though. But here's the thing: you're not truly anti-Apple. You have a MacBook.
The MacBook is really good, yeah.
That's
I'm a big
very
fan.
weird
Mm-mm.
that you're anti-iPhone but pro MacBook.
I don't
My
like...
brother's anti-iPhone, but he's also anti-MacBook.
He's anti all of it.
Yes.
A lot of computer people are.
Yeah, he's a computer
They like
person.
PC.
Yeah. He's like an Android. Like I will say his camera is unbelievable.
Of course, it is.
It's the best camera
Mine is
I've
too.
ever seen.
Apple's for simpletons. iPhones are for simpletons. They're for people
Well,
who
you're
don't
a boob,
really.
And you know what? That's because I don't want something fancy in an iPhone. I just want it to do its job, and I can set it down.
Yeah, my Samsung does a great job, and I can set it down. Same thing, and I'm not a sheep like the rest of you people. Oliver Marmol is going to join the Gas House gang.
Presumably.
He's going to be here. I wonder if Ollie's got an iPhone. I wonder if he's got
does.
a Samsung.
He does, because he doesn't have a stupid green bubble
Yeah,
when Matt texts him.
Texts are blue.
My favorite thing in the world is to text somebody and they get upset about the green bubble. Because
Might
it
be a
doesn't,
deal-
I don't
might
get
be
that.
a deal breaker for me.
Well, that's
like
because
you
you're-
meet the most beautiful woman or most handsome man in the world, and it pops up as a green bubble.
Yeah.
Is it over? Is it over for you, Matt?
Mm,
Does your lady have a green bubble?
no.
Okay.
Well, if it is over for you, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
Like there's something literally wrong with you if you
What's your pettiest
can't.
deal breaker?
Let me think about that. Maybe loud chewing. Teeth scraping. That's it. Teeth
Wait, what's
scraping.
teeth scraping?
With the fork.
Ew, who does that?
Lots of people do
What?
that.
Like,
what are you talking
in
about?
the cracks?
When they're taking a bite of food, as they pull the fork out, they scrape their teeth against the fork. It's childish.
Why would you do that?
I don't know. That's what I'm talking about. You have lips for a reason. Use them.
You have old lips.
Oh, good Lord. Gas House Gang at 12. Oliver Marmol's going to be on the show. And baseball fans, America's pastime is a game of decisions. Fastball, sinker, swing big, play small ball. And FanDuel is bringing that same strategy to every Dinger Tuesday with Choose Your Own Reward. It's a customization that transforms how you experience the game. You can play it safe with FanDuel, or you can go for it. If you're feeling bold, that's your move. Whatever your style is, you are in control with FanDuel. Just make your choice, and the reward is going to be ready to use instantly on your next home run bet. Cardinals are back at it tonight. In fact, they've got the Phillies, so maybe there's something in the game tonight that you are looking at and would like to try out. Well, just go to FanDuel.com/Missouri and get signed up. FanDuel.com/Missouri to choose your reward for home run bets every Dinger Tuesday. Play ball with the Home for Home Runs on FanDuel, an official partner of MLB. Must be 21 or over and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Broadcasting from the Scott Credit Union Studio, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Hey, this is Kevin Wheeler, and I want to tell you about Burn Balance Complex, which you can pick up at Supplement Superstores, and you can find a location at supplementsuperstores.com. Look, Burn Balance Complex is different, okay? It's a game changer. It is a complete, all-natural metabolism system. It's not just a fat burner. If you're someone that doesn't want to get a prescription, if you don't want to go get injections, Burn Balance Complex can get your metabolism rocking the way that it's supposed to, and you notice it really early on because you start to notice clothes are fitting a little differently. You're seeing results, which then kind of gives you motivation to keep on going, right? Well, on top of the metabolism boost, you're also going to notice reduced stress with lower cortisol levels, appetite and craving control, which is absolutely critical to staying on a plan, plus all-day focused energy, no jitters, no crash at the end of the day. And look, it's not magic. You got to do the work, but Burn Balance Complex has made that work so much easier for me. It'll do the same for you. So get out to Supplement Superstores. Tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They'll knock 30% off right then and there. And you can find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
For over 25 years, Styles Clothing Company has been serving the St. Louis community, and they're just getting started. They offer custom screen printing, embroidery, and promotional items for sports teams, schools, businesses, family reunions, and special events. Quality products and service guaranteed. Styles Clothing Company would like to thank all of its customers. Call now and mention you heard this commercial on this station for 15% off for the month of August. Styles Clothing Company. Call 314-831-6559 or go to stylesclothing.com.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. But at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited everything for just $35 a line. That's $35 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. Switch to the carrier ranked #1 in network coverage and customer satisfaction and get unlimited everything for just $35 a month. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit Consumer Cellular online or in-store today. Price includes $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes and fees apply. Data speeds reduced after 35 gigabytes. Rankings done by 2025 ACSI survey.
Chris Raunchy, Amy Mark scores because life is too short for boring radio. 104.1 FM KMOX.
Well, the texts are coming in regarding iPhones, and I will say we've gotten most of them. I'm sure the Samsung ones still haven't gotten through the line yet.
Heyo.
One texter says, Chris, I couldn't agree with you more. iPhones suck. A 618 says, when a new coworker joins the work group text and they have a Samsung, it seems to mess up the text messaging. Messages won't go through to everyone for hours. Matt, that is the bane of your existence.
I can confirm because most of my group texts contain Chris Ranji, who does not have an iPhone. So any text with other coworkers, they sometimes miss them.
So you should be mad at iPhone. Be mad at Apple because they do that intentionally.
No.
Yes, no, they literally do that. They make it so that the user experience is worse, so that people will bully their friends into buying iPhones.
Like
and
you
you can
would do
take
that.
your iPhone, and I'm going to tell you where you can stick it.
Nope. Ranj.
It goes
Wait, does the
straight
sun
to...
shine there?
It depends.
For Tucker Carlson, it does.
It depends. Are you walking on your hands or not? But and there was yet another text that said, I know that's something about...
Here, I'll read it. Well, here's one. A 636 says CR. That's Chris Ranji.
It's me.
I agree with you. Never owned an iPhone, never will, even if you gave it to me cheap. And along those lines, a 217 says, it's a deal breaker if they have a green bubble because it means they don't have enough money to get an iPhone. Also, that they're being contrary just to be contrary, and both aren't going to bode well for a healthy adult relationship.
So, two things about both of those. First of all, it's not contrarianism. I just like the phone I've had. I've had Samsung for, as long as phones have been around.
Have fun being poor.
Like it's I think they're. I think they're. It's a
Samsung
much better
is
experience.
Android, right? They're the same.
Correct.
Or no? Okay.
Android's like the user interface, whatever.
Yeah.
And by the way, this thing about how Samsung is if you have one, you're poor. That is the stupid. The top. Hold on. The top of the line.
Yeah.
There was some comedian who said it, and I forgot who it was. So people are jumping on it because they're not original, like the iPhone people. And the iPhone Pro Max, that's like the top of the line iPhone, is $100 less expensive than the top of the line Samsung. So I don't know what these people are talking about.
See, and
Samsung's not like 50, but what the hell do you think a Samsung is?
Well, because that's why, and my brother's a computer guy, and he has, I don't know what he has. He has some kind of Android, but I don't know which one. But I feel like when he talks about his phones, I feel like those are more expensive than the iPhone.
They are. So I don't know where that came from. I
don't either because I've never heard that.
So now you're an elitist.
Yeah, you're
That's
not.
whatever.
You're supposed to be the people's co-host.
No. My phone is better than yours. That's all I'm trying to tell you.
That's an elitist.
Yeah. I'm not saying that I'm an elitist. I'm just saying my phone is better than you.
You're supposed to be the people's co-host.
I am.
I don't think so.
The people are with Samsung. Telling you. I'll be back tomorrow with my Samsung device, my Galaxy. Can't wait to use it. Can't wait to text these two idiots later tonight talking about
to get
tomorrow.
The text tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well, that's a problem with your phone. I guess you better take it up with them. Call Apple. Get support on the line. We'll be back tomorrow at 9. If you missed anything on the show, you know where to get it. The Odyssey app, iHeart app, KMOX.com, or wherever you get your podcast. But coming up next, Gas House Gang with Oliver Marmol, Bernie Miklasz, Tom Ackerman, and me, next on KMOX. You ain't big no mo. How come you're not big?
Time now for today's Spotlight on Money.